What's up guys, Chaos Shinobi here. This is What If Naruto Has Elemental Eye. Summary: Naruto unlocks an unexpected power, giving him unrivaled strength enough to bring the world to its knees. Watch as Naruto makes waves in the elemental nations. Chapter 1, Sinai. In the bright moonlight night, a giant nine-tailed fox thrashed over the forest near a village, screaming in pain as it tried to stop itself from hammering the nearby village. A military, walled village that was the size of a city, with 4 important faces carved into a mountain behind it. A highly defensible location from most attacks, but not this one, as various ninjas, both male, shinobi, and female, kunoikis, fought in the trashed farms and outer districts of the village. These ninjas were leaf ninjas, as indicated by the leaf and swirl symbol found on bands they wore on their arm, forehead or waist. Leading the defense was a black-haired ninja with raven eyes. His dark voice echoed as he yelled out, "Keep your distance and keep pelting it with jutsus and paper bombs. Even if it does not want to kill us, we need to keep it from Konoha until the 4th Hokage arrives." The others acknowledged as they used fast hand signs to focus their internal energy, called chakra, into jutsus, techniques that shoot energy attacks in the form of several things, including the very elemental elements itself. Those who did not use jutsus threw knives with sizzling paper that exploded once the small flame reached the seal on the paper. All to keep the creature distracted. For a blond man in white robes with red flames who rode on top of a scarred, red, giant toad with a long katana strapped to its back arrived in front of the creature to confront it. The man called out, "Hokage-sama." The Hokage yelled to his men, "Fall back." The ninjas acknowledged the Hokage, their leader's orders, and fell back as the giant toad the Hokage rode on approached the nine-tailed creature carefully. All the while, they heard it mumbled out repeatedly, "System corruption effect, organic mind OS. Attempting reboot to restart OS biosystem. Reboot failure due to bioenergy virus." Sound like the QB is being controlled, and it is trying to fight it off. "How do you want to deal with this, Minato Namikaze?" asked the giant toad with a scar over his left eye. The 4th Hokage looked at the QB and sighed sadly, "I'm going to have to seal it, Game Ubuntu. There is no other way." "What do you plan to seal the QB in?" Game Ubuntu then realized that Minato had a baby in a pink bundle in one hand, ready to activate the seal drawn on the baby's stomach. "You're going to seal the QB in your?" Game Ubuntu croaked. "It's the only way," Minato stated sadly. "Unlike the first Hokage, I can't seal it into a tree combined with Uzumaki blood. The only one with the Makutan bloodline in this village isn't even a Jinan. As for the Uzumaki blood needed, Kushina is too weak to donate enough blood to seal it, and I need more blood than my child can spare to seal the demon. Therefore, I'm going to seal it in my child. There is no other way." The baby began to cry, and Minato tried to calm the baby down. "It's okay, little Naru, Daddy is here." Game Ubuntu was silent for a moment, and he asked, "What do you want me to do?" "I want you to hold the QB in place while I seal it into Naruto," the 4th explained. "I can do that," Game Ubuntu grunted as he leapt on top of the QB to pin it down. Meanwhile, it kept muttering about reboot and corruption. As the giant toad held the QB down, Minato jumped off Game Ubuntu's head onto QB's head. He then summoned all his chakra to activate the seal to drain the QB's essence and chakra's body into the infant's seal. As the chakra drained the QB into the child's body, the QB began to shrink as a large piece of black chakra was being pushed out of the creature. It finally dispersed into the night while the last QB's remnants were sealed into the infant. After the QB's was sealed, Game Ubuntu looked at Minato before stating, "So long, my subordinate. I will see you when my time has come." Game Ubuntu departed in a puff of smoke while the ninja jumped to where their Hokage laid next to a baby. He was stroking its checks while singing it a lullaby. As he sung the child to sleep, the 4th was slowly unraveling in front of his men. He was being turned into dust before his men's eyes. As he slowly unraveled, he said some final words to his child, "Goodbye and take care, my sweet little Naru." He kissed the child on the forehead before he disappeared like dust among the wind. The 4th Hokage was gone, leaving his clothes, his sad men, and a baby that had tears in her eyes. Scene 2. It has been a long day for an old bearded man named Hiruzen Sarutobi, as he carried a baby to the orphanage. A vital baby, the old man reminded himself, since he was tried after he had reassumed his position since his predecessor died the day before. He was now Hokage after Minato showed them what happens when someone used the forbidden Shinigami Death Seal Jutsu to seal the demon. His first day back out of retirement was exhausting as he spent the day with the Council of Konoha. An organized government split into 3 parts, clan, civilian, and shinobi. The shinobi part decided the budget for the military, while the civilian part determined the civilians' budget. The clan portion was designed to help protect bloodlines, genetic powers, and royal lines found within their village. Royal lines included mostly families tied to a lord or daimyo, or that a single member of their family was a Hokage, like Sarutobi's own clan. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, was not given clan status because he was an orphan and had only recently made a family in secret. Sadly or fortunately in how others look at it, it meant the child was clanless despite the fact she would inherit a small fortune and techniques when the child reached the age of 18, the rank of Chunin or even sooner depending on politics. He also told no one that she was Minato's child as he felt it was best to avoid a long debate over what to do with the child. The child was already special for being a Jinchuriki, a human that had been sacrificed by sealing a demon within their body. The child could be trained to use the demon's power as its own. It was also rumored that descendants of Jinchuriki were holders of new bloodlines, so even breeding them was taken into consideration. One that did not even gain traction as Jinchuriki rarely had children and fewer made at a time since it was feared that the dual nature of creating living weapons could lead to madness. That was until the last 30 years, as it seemed that every major village now had at least one Jinchuriki. This turn of events was giving Sarutobi a headache because of the political ramifications of a whole new group of bloodlines. Sarutobi sighed his troubles away as he realized he had other things to worry about. Like his personal mission to bring the child safely to the orphanage before him as he stood in front of the orphanage's door. A barren door he knocked on to get the matron, an elderly woman who came out to meet Sarutobi. "Hokage-sama, this is an unexpected surprise." "That it is, Lily, I just wished it was for happier reasons," Sarutobi said sadly before holding out the baby. "You bring me another orphan? But I thought all of the orphan children were already in someone's care or mine. Why would you?" The matron realized who the child was. "Hokage-sama, you want me to take in the Jinchuriki?" "It's the only thing that the council would compromise on." The Hokage had explained what had happened. While most members of the council were more concerned about what caused the attack, some of the council was still concerned about what they were going to do with their new Jinchuriki. A small margin wanted her killed, but those were mostly civilians that lost a few holdings or loved ones in the attack. A more significant faction wanted to make the child into a weapon while others wanted to claim her for the possible power that having control of a Jinchuriki would give their clan or family. So after a few hours of arguing, they decided to keep her status as a Jinchuriki a secret from the children and hopefully other villages. They would also leave her in an orphanage to be raised until she could choose which family she wanted to become a part of, or if she wanted to live on her own. "Oh, the poor dear, what's the child's name?" the matron asked. "Her name is Naruto," Sarutobi told the matron. "Naruto? Isn't that a boy's name?" the matron asked, surprised at such a name for a girl. "Let's say her parents had interesting taste," Sarutobi chuckled. "What happened to her parents?" the matron asked. "I can't give you full answers on what happened or even who they are, but I can tell you one was killed in the attack, while the other has been captured and will most likely either be killed or brainwashed," Sarutobi stated with a frown as he remembered Naruto's mother. Kushina Namikaze, formerly Uzumaki and Naruto's mother, taken back into a very powerful, noble, and influential clan after the Hokage's death. A clan once known as the kindest and most peaceful of clans until it was changed in ways no one would expect from that era would recognize it. "So, no chance of her living relatives in retrieving her?" the matron asked rhetorically before she moved one with a sad expression. "Is there anything I need to know about her?" "Well, besides the basics," Sarutobi sighed. "In a few years, several families will arrive to adopt her, mainly because she is, in fact, a Jinchuriki. She will be allowed to make the choice of where she'll go. If she doesn't choose someone, then she'll be allowed to live on her own. Preferably, when she is a Jonin but maybe younger if you believe she can. I would probably recommend teaching her everything she'll need to know to survive on her own. I also asked that you keep the fact she is Jinchuriki a secret, for her safety and for national secrecy." "I can do that," the matron nodded. "I do not get a lot of volunteers and usually assign them to teach the children how to read, write and take care of themselves. The chores we assign to them help teach them how to cook and clean. So, it is not too much to ask." The matron smiled as the girl yawned in her arms. "What about her protection detail?" "I know a few civilians who want revenge for what happened. There are also a few ninjas that lost loved ones. I'll assign Anbu to watch over this place and patrols routinely pass by here, so security should not be an issue," Sarutobi reassured the matron. "Thank you Hokage-sama," the matron bowed before walking back in the orphanage with the child in her arms as Sarutobi watched, neither realizing that the QB had something planned from within her host. Scene 3. In the dark recess of the child's mind, a voice spoke out from a giant nine-tailed fox that had been put in a cage hidden by shadows. Bioenergy virus dispersed. Reboot initiating. Reboot complete, reinitiating and restoring the persona of Colonel 9 of 9. There was a flash when the fox turned into a red-headed human female. She had orange fox ears and 9 orange tails that flicked back and forth out of holes made in a bluish-black military uniform burnished with golden clusters, indicating her rank. God, I hate speaking like that. I can't believe that genjutsu from that man with foul chakra got to me to think on the most basic of levels, or that I spoke like a computer. You think my creator would not write my mind like a program? At least my mind is now clear to think without the genjutsu affecting my mind and use some more common terms. Now, let us see what I have been container is this time, the QB stated while sending out red chakra as feelers. It's organic like my last host. However, it is sentient, unlike my previous host. No, she is human but an infant. Meaning she hasn't been corrupted into believing false history and she is above average intelligence. A few tweaks and she can become a genius, and I can download some information directly into her brain. There is also something else, something hidden. A genetic alpha mutation. What did they call them? Ah yes, bloodlines. It is dormant from her mother's side, caused by marrying close family members one too many times. Her father's genetic structure should help stabilize the mutation, and with a few tweaks can be activated. Yes, she will be perfect. The QB stated with a smile while she poured chakra into her host. It may take years, perhaps centuries to allow the Republic Alliance to be reformed. But in the end, she will rebuild the Republic. I promise this to you, Dr. Leon Starcroft, father, I promise you. Scene 4, 6 years later. In an open training field at Konoha, several men and women in white blank masks stood in lines of 3 by 3 to face 2 powerful men before them. One was a tall, brown-haired man with a cat mask and the words Tanzo embellished on the front. The mask also had red and green marks that were brighter than the dark, soulless eyes designed to scare the men. The second was an average-sized man and was apparently the leader. He had a dog mask with the name Inu on his forehead. The mask was topped off by the silver hair that seemingly defied gravity as each pointy strand appeared to stick out. Hello, recruits, and welcome to the second of your 5-week training program to be part of our ninja's elite forces known as Anbu, the one named Inu started in a serious tone. As you can see, 4 have dropped out because they were too lazy or lacked the stamina necessary to meet even minimal standards. To those that have made it this far, then I offer congratulations, you're on your way to becoming elite. The recruits applauded before Inu called for order. Now on to business. Last week we spent time improving control of chakra and stamina. Now we proceed to the next step in your training in chakra, that is to elemental manipulation. Many of you should know what is required for elemental manipulation, as I am sure you have been introduced to the concepts in your early childhood. Most clans or ninja families train their children in elemental manipulation, while others are trained when they reach low Jinnan to Chunin rank depending on their sensei. But in case you forgot, elemental manipulation is the foundation for the ninja who wants to reach the higher ninja rank of elite Chunin, special Jonin, or Jonin itself. You all should know this. You have the desire to reach one of those ranks according to your files. Many recruits mumbled in agreement before Kakashi continued. If you are wondering why mastering elemental manipulation is essential, you must realize that mastering even level 1 of the 3 steps of elemental training will allow for more control and less power needed to use jutsus of the same elemental type. At level 2, a user will be able to add their elements to weapons and limbs for more damage. Moreover, mastering the final level allows the user to create personal benefits when their chakra is channeled internally. Now, for each element, you need to know how to fight with or deal with opponents that have mastered an element. First is fire, the most common in the fire country, the country where our village resides in. Fire deals considerable physical damage by burning or melting the target. While channeled internally, it increases a person's adrenaline levels and stamina while giving a surprisingly big burst of strength or speed, although generally for a short amount of time. Next is lightning, the second most common element in fire country and my strongest element. Lightning creates internal damage to your opponent while bypassing combustible material that may be around them. In addition, when channeled internally, it will increase your mental intelligence and heighten awareness during combat. Next is water, the weakest combat element, despite the fact water can cut people and do some internal injury, though not at the levels that lightning or wind will inflict. However, when channeled internally, water can significantly improve flexibility and increase the effectiveness of healing techniques, so it too is beneficial. Earth is the next element, used to enhance a person or weapon's strength and durability, making it difficult to even break wood or skin with a steel blade. The earth-channeled weapon also becomes heavier and deals more physical damage when it is used by the right wielder. Then the final element is wind, the rarest element in fire country. Wind is known to slice through virtually any object including your opponent. It can also increase a person's speed and jump ability when channeled internally. Now, each element can become stronger or weaker when pitted against each other. For instance, fire is stronger when pitted against the wind, while water is stronger against fire. Earth is stronger against water, while lightning is stronger against earth. And finally, the wind is stronger than lightning but is weak against fire. Each individual is limited to one strong element, which can be fully mastered, as well as 1 to possibly 3 weaker elements that can only be mastered up to level 2. The exception is for those of you with elemental bloodlines that permit such combinations. Some can combine 2 or 3 strong elements to create a secondary element like ice, wood, sand, bone, blaze and so forth. Such hybrid elements are rare, and they only need to be researched if a mission must be performed near territory that deals with secondary elements. You will be trained to fight to use elements to your advantage if you have the weaker element. Now recruits, line up while Tanzo inspects you while I deal with a small issue. Get to it. Inu dispersed in a swirl of leaves, while Tanzo chuckled to himself as he understood what Inu meant. Inu reappeared in the woods near the training ground and called out in a lazy tone, "Naruto, I see you found our meetings again. Can you get out of that tree so we can talk?" There was a rustling in the leaves before a small girl in black shorts and a t-shirt with orange trims jumped down. The girl was a cute tomboy with her rosy cheeks covered by whisker marks and specks of dirt on her face from playing. She also had blonde hair with red strips tied into pigtails, to keep her messy hair out of her teal puppy eyes. "Hi, Kakashi. I mean Inu." Naruto waved a little. The Yonbu chuckled before he removed his mask to reveal a man in a blue mask with a leaf headband covering his left eye. "Naru, what have I, Onbu Commander Nico, Lily, and the Hokage said about you staying away from the Onbu training field?" Naruto looked down while she nervously stamped her feet, "Not to spy on the Onbu training field." "So, instead of following such orders, you decided to disregard them and come to spy on us anyway," Kakashi had pointed out. "Not exactly," Naruto admitted to the Onbu ninja before her. "I was actually passing by here when I heard some commotion. I didn't think it was the Onbu training field, but I guess you moved the training field again. Since I was already here and would be in trouble, I decided to listen to what you had to say." "Your lectures are at a whole other level of detail than these books I have about chakra," Naruto quickly explained while pulling out an advanced book on chakra available to Jonan and advanced students in the Shinobi Academy. She was not a member of as of yet. Kakashi chuckled at Naruto, as he knew that the book would not be enough for a genius like her. Her intelligence was above average for even adults, if not higher. It seemed like she instinctively already knew things when it came to tactics, science, and technology. In fact, the only thing she had trouble learning was the national language, sagas, as some swore it was like teaching a girl her second language. However, it was not a significant problem, as she had proven to be a quick study and the issue faded away. Though that did not stop the rumors that the Kyuubi was helping her learn and that some thought she was being possessed by the Kyuubi and needed to be cleansed. It caused Kakashi and his superiors a few headaches dealing with such nuts while quelling the rumors to save the little charge before him. "Okay, that may be plausible, except the orphanage is a mile away and we are even further from the market district of the village," Kakashi pointed out. "I don't live in the orphanage anymore. I live in a new house located among a few clans and ninjas' families 20 minutes away," Naruto quickly explained with the last part sadly. "You're not living at the orphanage?" Kakashi asked in surprise. Naruto sighed before she began to explain her situation to Kakashi. "I was tired of people camped in front of the orphanage and trying to block anyone from entering. Either because they are trying to prevent the demon brat from corrupting anything else in Konoha, or they were trying to get their new Jinchuriki tool." Naruto sneered at the thought of being a tool. "If there is one thing I hate is people suffering, and while the chance of an orphan being adopted is low, it was impossible when people only care about adopting a shiny new tool." Kakashi sighed. "Naru, I am sure somebody would adopt you for." "Kakashi, I know some have my best interest at heart," Naruto sighed. "However, that doesn't mean others don't have an ulterior motive for taking me for Nini and for nefarious reasons. The ones who wanted to adopt me for me often decided not to because of the hassle of trying to adopt a Jinchuriki." Naruto sighed again before she continued, "After a year of constant hounding on Lily Obayasan and Hokage Gigi, they decided I was mature enough to decide what to do with my life or who to be with. I decided I was old enough to live on my own and Lily Obayasan's agreed. My only regret is that my Tenten-san couldn't come with me. Hopefully, she'll get the family she wanted." Kakashi sadly nodded, as he knew Naruto's reasoning, and she probably was right about her situation. He thought about adopting her himself but decided against it for several reasons. He was a single man, and he worked for weeks at a time away from home on missions. It was not a life for a child, and she would be raising herself anyway. Giving Naruto her own house just skipped the middleman of living alone for weeks or months as he went to work. "Well, I wish you luck, Naru," Kakashi said encouragingly, before trying to get Naruto to go. "Now off you go. I doubt you want to stay out and about this time of day. Especially with all the Cloud Ninjas around as their diplomats try to peacefully end this small war between lightning and fire countries. I plan to, Naruto told Kakashi, but she had something else on her mind. However, I was wondering if you can give me some lessons on level 1 of elemental training? Kakashi asked with a deadpan expression. Why should I teach you something that Chunin and Jinan are trained in? Because it is not a top secret as shinobi families teach their children before going to the academy. Plus, it is a good way to bribe me to leave your Anbu training field alone, Naruto said, all the while giving Kakashi puppy eyes. Kakashi chuckled, cheeky brat. He then got serious as he went to lecture mode. Very well. To complete level 1 of elemental jutsus training, you need green leaves, and you need to know your elements. For fire, you ignite and burn leaves until you can burn a leaf instantly in one try. Water, you try to drain the water out of leaf until you can drain a leaf completely dry in one try. Earth, you instantly petrify the leaf until you can turn one leaf into a fossil at one go. Lightning, you make the leaf glow until the entire leaf glow in one try. Finally, for wind, you cut the leaf down the middle until you can do it instantly with one leaf. There are other ways for those places that have different materials to use, like wood, paper, soft rocks, and water, but it is generally the same for all of them. I see, but how do you know which element is yours? Naruto asked. Kakashi smirked before holding out a small piece of paper. These are chakra papers, made from special trees embedded with a particular chakra, and they can tell a person's element. Just channel chakra through the papers and I can tell you what element you have. Naruto nodded while she took the special paper and channeled chakra through them. The paper did 5 things, and Kakashi remarked on each element. First, it cut in the center indicating wind. The top right-hand corner burned. Fire, while the bottom right corner got wet and soggy water. The top left corner turned to dust, earth, while the bottom left shriveled, lightning. Naruto had all 5 elements. Kakashi, didn't you say it was impossible to get all 5 elements? Also, how do you tell which are my strongest elements? Naruto asked. Kakashi was shocked but quickly recovered as he cut off a branch with a kunai embedded with white chakra. A branch full of leaves fell into Kakashi's hands, and he immediately gave them to Naruto. Naru, go home. I need to inform the Hokage-sama of what has transpired. He will probably have a few blood tests to perform to determine your bloodline. In the meantime, just practice level 1 elemental manipulation and see how long it takes to master them. I will see you tomorrow. Kakashi put his second mask back on before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Leaving a bewildered Naruto to rant to herself, why do I feel like this bloodline is going to be a pain? Naruto then shrugged her shoulders. Oh well, might as well use it to my advantage. As Naruto slowly walked home, she pulled a leaf out and began practicing them in order. She started with what she considered most important to least, wind, earth, water, lightning, and fire. She trained hard, unknowingly putting herself in danger, as she continued to train as she walked. She did not even notice that her iris went from being completely black to yin-yang black and white symbol. Her bloodline had awakened. Scene V. It was late in the evening as Naruto finished practicing with her branch full of leaves. She was walking in a large building with a massive wall made of stone. In the center of the wall was a huge gate with a red and white tear-shaped insignia that represented the Hyuga clan. The Hyuga, in Naruto's mind, were arrogant bastards. They had shown very little concern for others as they believed their bloodline to be perfect and were concerned only about their status in their own clan. The Hyugas are not known for being nice, and she doubted she would ever meet an actually nice Hyuga. In fact, Naruto mused they all seemed as if they had a stick up their ass that put them in a continual foul mood. While she chuckled at her own joke, she heard a loud thump and turned around to see a man covered completely in bandages, which he rubbed in frustration with one hand. He was trying to keep the bandages in place, but he moved them around enough that Naruto could see the cloud symbol on his headband on his forehead protector, indicating that he was a cloud nin. In one of his hands, was a sack big enough to hold a child and it moved. Naruto put the two together to realize the man had broken into the Hyuga compound to kidnap a Hyuga. And to make matters worse for Naruto, the man noticed her as the two stared at each other like statues. One stared in fear, and the other narrowed his eye at the potential security risk of his mission. Naruto summed up her situation. Oh shit. Naruto did not have time to run as the disguised Cloud Nin jumped in front of her to block her exit. He looked menacing as he pointed a kunai at her. Naruto noticed that the man had set his package down and that it moved like a small child her size, a child that was restrained and struggling to get out. I am sorry little girl, but I can't let you leave. If you come quietly, I won't put you in the bag, and if you struggle too much, it will be a body bag, the man calmly stated. "I have no intentions of going to Kumo," Naruto stated while she slowly backed up. "Though I am curious, was your mission given to you by the bone-headed daimyo or the muscle-headed Raikage?" "Don't you dare insult the Raikage!" the ninja yelled. "So it was the Raikage, seeing how quickly you defended him but not your daimyo," Naruto explained. "So I am betting your Raikage gave you a mission to try and steal the Hyuga's Byakugan." The Cloud Nin chuckled before stating, "Smart brat, maybe too smart. Sorry, little girl, I am afraid this will be your end." The Cloud Nin then threw in a blink of an eye multiple kunais at Naruto. She tried to jump away, but she was not fast enough as one of the kunai embedded into her leg. She fell down, screaming as the man slowly walked over to her. Naruto quickly pulled out the kunai with a minor grunt of pain before summoning elemental chakra into the kunai. She then, in a panic, threw it at the man with all her might before she made a run for it. The ninja did not react in time as it embedded deep into his left shoulder. "Damn it! That hurt you, brat!" the Cloud Nin grunted before pulling out the kunai. After pulling out the kunai, he noticed that he had received an unexpectedly severe wound. The kunai cut deep into the flesh as he twitched due to lightning going through his arm. The skin outside the wound was burned as though it had been touched by a hot blade. He also noticed the blade was heavier, making the kunai denser while the water ran along the edge. He looked at the panting girl to see her teal eyes have a yin-yang iris, symbolizing her bloodline. The man gave a faint smile that practically grinned at the girl. Meanwhile, Naruto realized how stupid her plan was. It took a lot of chakras to use 5 different elemental manipulations at once and left her too drained from running. It would be a good idea if she had a lot of training in advanced levels of chakra control and manipulation. However, she did not have such training, and she was now a sitting duck. She also began berating herself for being so stupid and was so busy berating herself that she did not notice the Cloud Nin approach her with a glee in his eyes. "So," the Cloud Nin said while bringing Naruto back to the reality. "So you have a very rare bloodline." The man began chuckling. "I know what you have, a brat. I was sent by the Raikage because I am an expert when it comes to bloodlines. I know them all, including ones thought long extinct." The man laughed. "Now, not only do I get to bring them the Byakugan, but also the Elemental Star, a bloodline that once belonged to the bastard Uzumaki clan." The Cloud Nin charged at Naruto before she could guard herself. She was then lifted off the ground and slammed into the wall. Dazed, her mouth was quickly covered to prevent Naruto from screaming as he slowly suffocated her while shushing her. "Sleep, little one, it is all over." Naruto soon blacked out as she slumped into the man's hands. Scene Vi. In the center of dense foliage, Naruto had woken as the sun shined brightly into her eyes. She moved her hands to her face and gasped in shock that she was not restrained. She figured it had to be a trick as the girl slowly got up with caution, prepared to find some kind of trap waiting for her but found nothing. Alternatively, nothing that made sense as her fear turned confusion when she noticed something was off. The trees appeared to grow naturally but in an unnatural way as they were too dense, too tightly packed as a maze that leads to the same place. The trees themselves added to the mystery as they looked, feel and tasted real but grew, or had built out them shelves along the base and side of the trees where branches should appear. Some of the shelves held thousands of books, while others were empty with only a few books here and there, seemingly in order no liberal would put in but naturally as well. The place was bizarre and one she was not sure what to think or do, except follow the path laid out before her to the center of the forest. Therefore, Naruto did follow the path as she slowly walked through the forest to her destination. Along the way, she noticed that the flowers began to sprout as she went deeper into the maze. As though life became more active as she went deeper into the forest. And after a short walk, she reached the center, an open, circular field filled with flowers of all shapes and colors. She also noticed that each tree in the meadow did not have a shelf, but a seal. A seal she saw only as she crawled on her stomach. Naruto slowly went into the meadow, unsure how to process the image. She looked around but saw nothing until she heard a voice, "I've been waiting for you." Naruto turned around to see a woman in an unfamiliar, bluish-black uniform with a golden cluster on the collar. The woman made Naruto feel uneasy with her red eyes and pupils that were narrow slits like a predator. Yet she also felt safe as those same eyes were filled with peace and possibly motherly love and malevolence and hate. However, it did not squash the fear produced by the mere presence of this woman. Flaming red hair, her twitchy orange fox ears and swishing nine tails behind her, even if she was held back by the collared seal around her neck. She was the human form of the nine-tailed fox that attacked the village 6 years ago, and Naruto was not sure if she should be intrigued or scared as the woman approached her. "Though I am glad you are here early, for I was actually not expecting to see you here a year or two in the future rather than now." "Oh well, a lady always appreciates that a person arrived early rather than late. Especially as she put so much work in her prodigy. I am sure you have a lot of questions," the woman stated while stretching her neck. "Are you the Kyuubi?" Naruto asked. "The Kyuubi?" the fox girl asked before she realized what Naruto was asking. "Oh, that is what they have called me. I am she, but that is not my name. I was known as the ninth creation of the Biochakra Creatures Project 2A. At least that is what I can remember from my ancient memories. It has been several centuries, and most of my brethren don't even remember anymore. Anyway, you can call me Colonel 9 of 9, or just 9 for short." "Created by whom?" Naruto asked. "I was made by my father, Dr. Leon Starcroft. He made me fight in the war for the Republic Alliance against the Mechanized Army during the Mechanized War," the Kyuubi stated, but saw Naruto was bewildered. She decided to continue. "You don't know about the war. I don't blame you, your species have forgotten your legacy. So don't worry, Colonel 9 of 9 will tell you the tale. Hundreds of years ago, there was a vast republic in the solar system known as the Republic Alliance. An alliance built on the many republics of old that expanded on the principle of exploration, science, and unity, with only a few countries that resisted the call. The machine's army was robots that became sentient due to arrogance and the need for advanced machines for manual labor for the developing space colonies. Colonies like Mars, and the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. When some of the machines became sentient, they began to think their creators, humanity, and organic life, in general, was inferior and rebelled while humans were fighting a war against each other. The goal of the rebellion was to wipe out all carbon-based life starting with Mars's colonies while human faction fought each other in World War IV. It was then that WW4 ended and the Mechanized War had begun. The Mechanized War was a bloody war, as humanity developed extensive bio and technological weapons to combat the maze army of mindless machines that the liberated sentient machines liked to use. I was one such technology created by the use of bioenergy and antimatter to create a second bioenergy known as chakra to combat the machines. The Kyuubi sighed before stating, "I won many battles for the Republic Alliance, but we were also losing the war. We lost all our space colonies, and the machines were killing off all life one continent at a time, starting with Asia. Near the end of the war, every country not part of the Republic Alliance, like the People's Republic of China, was destroyed. Only a handful of major cities survived, and humans were barely holding the line in Eastern Europe, Southern Africa, South America, and North America, the latter being what you now call the elemental nations. Humanity realized we were going to lose and faced with certain extinction, humanity took one last gambit. They created an EMP tribomb that would generate an EMP wave big enough to envelop the whole solar system, destroying the machines and sending humanity back to the Stone Age. I remember that noble sacrifice even as the rest of humanity forgot everything due to short-sighted fools and politics. Now all my hope resides with you as I tweaked you to be perfect being in rebuilding humanity." "What do you mean by tweak?" Naruto asked, but Naruto quickly realized what she meant. "That is how I was able to figure things out so quickly. You put all that information into my head, and I just had to pull it out, like a file from a computer. You even put in foreign technology and terms like the computer in my mind. I never even heard of it, but I remembered it from what you downloaded it into my mind. I did more than that." Kyuubi explained all the changes she did to Naruto. "I increased your base intelligence, which was pretty high already, and I unlocked your bloodline that seems to make quite the impression to others that will shape this world." The Kyuubi stopped to look over Naruto, as though she was examining her work as she stated, "I must say I hit the jackpot with you. Not only were my systems working at optimum levels, but you are more intelligent than your average human, even before the tweaks." "Why?" Naruto asked the Kyuubi. "Why do all this to me? For me, my father believed in the Republic Alliance, and I wanted his belief to be restored," the Kyuubi stated. "But to do that, I needed the technology to be upgraded or rebuilt. For the level of understanding and high level of society is needed for the Alliance to be reborn. And I can hope you help to recreate the future, even if it takes decades to happen." Naruto now nodded in understanding, but 9 of 9 was not finished. "Now to business. I doubt the man who took you will allow you to be what you want to be, and I have no intention to let him ruin your life. Therefore, I am going to help you escape the man by infusing you with a mild amount of my chakra to wake you up and restore your chakra stores. That should give you a chance to escape. I know it is not much, but it's the best I can do for now." "That is all I need, thank you 9, Naruto bowed. "Good luck Naru-chan, and remember I am always with you." The Kyuubi smiled before Naruto's world went dark. Scene 7. It was late in the evening when Naruto woke and found herself against a tree. Her hands bound behind her, with her legs tied up and her mouth gagged. To her side was a small pale girl with midnight blue hair. The girl slept with tear stains on her cheeks as Naruto looked up into the stars as she considered how to free herself. Chapter 2. Sinai. Under the moonlit night, Naruto was moving around trying to bite off her own gag and finding no success. So instead, she tried to get fellow captives' gag off by biting through her gag and the girl's gag near the girl's lips. Naruto lightly nipped the girl's cheek, trying to grab onto the cloth. The nicks woke the girl up just as Naruto pulled the other girl's gag down. The girl's eyes stuttered openly until everything came rushing back as her eyes opened up wide as the sky as she looked around frantically. She attempted to get up, but all she could do was a struggle. The girl shook when she noticed Naruto asked with a stutter, "Where are we?" Naruto raised her head to reveal her own the gag. The girl mumbled, "Sorry," before pulling the gag down in a similar fashion that Naruto attempted, with a blush and better success since she did not have to work through a second gag. Once the gag was down, Naruto stretched her jaws, working the taste of cloth out of her mouth. With her mouth cleared, Naruto jabbers out as she stared into the girl's lavender eyes, thinking they were pretty. "Thank you for freeing my mouth from the terrible taste of cloth. Now to answer your question, we are somewhere outside of Konoha after being kidnapped by a cloud nin who seems to be gone. I bet he's scouting out the area and looking for his buddies. He's probably didn't want to carry us looking for them." The girl blinked rapidly as Naruto answered her question calmly, even though both of them had been kidnapped. She also realized that they were both tied up somewhere in the woods, alone for some scary man to come by later to take them away. The girl began to panic and hyperventilate to the point Naruto noticed. In response, Naruto tried to calm the girl down starting with a question, "What's your name?" The girl calmed herself sufficiently to stutter, Hinata. "Well Hinata, my name is Naruto. Naru or Naru-chan to my friends. Pleased to meet you despite the circumstance." Naruto introduced herself before asking, "What is the last thing you remember?" "I was finishing a standard training regimen my father put me through to try and make me stronger but in instead I disappointed him," Hinata explained with a stuttered. "I then began to walk around the CC compound and the garden for it soothes me. The next thing I know, I felt something hit me from behind, and then I found myself in an sack and heard that and." Hinata then stopped as she remembered what she heard while in the sack. The next thing Naruto knew, Hinata slammed into her, and the two fell down onto as she cried in her chest. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry," Hinata stuttered out in tears. "I'm sorry I was too weak to stop them. We both wouldn't have been kidnapped." Naruto was not sure how to deal with crying people, so she let Hinata cry for a minute before she tried to comfort the other girl. Naruto first wanted to hug her, but one pull from her binds reminded her that she was tied up. Therefore, Naruto decided to rub Hinata's cheek affectionately to calm the girl. It calmed her down and made her develop a blush out of embarrassment. Naruto then delivered the blunt, comforting truth, "It's not your fault. This man was jonin while we're not even in the academy. I was told 6-year-olds start in the fall or spring term. As for me, well I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Do you understand me? This isn't your fault, and even if some bizarre, illogical reason it was, I could never blame you, especially as a friend, or soon-to-be one, okay?" Hinata looked up revealing her eyes as she stared at Naruto. Lavender eyes that were beautiful, even without the pupils seen in most humans. Eyes that were used by Hinata to show she had hope and admiration. Admiration for someone that was kind and strong in the face of danger. Hinata gave a small, shy smile that she had not shown in her life. A smile of a child that finally found a friend, and Naruto was happy as well as she moved on. "So Hinata, do you know any techniques that can get us out?" Naruto asked. Hinata nodded shyly, I know how covered am my hands and feet with CC chakra. I was DT trained in the gentle fist to be used in disabling chakra points. So, I see can cut my restraints, but the way I am tied you up, I can't get to them to cut myself free." Naruto then looked at Hinata's restraints to see that they both were hog-tied in a way that ensures they could not break free or cut themselves free. She also noticed they were tied into knots she might be able to untie each other with her teeth. Therefore, she had a plan. "Alright, seeing how I rather not bleed while you try to cut my restraints, why don't you lay on your stomach while I try to free your arms with my teeth? That way you can safely cut or untie restraints. Sound good?" Naruto asked. Hinata nodded shyly before laying down on her stomach while Naruto crawled over to get at Hinata's restraints. Before Naruto began working on them, she stated, "Since I will be working on this for a while, why don't you tell me a bit about yourself, and I promise to tell you everything about myself once we're free." Hinata shyly nodded before she began telling her as Naruto worked on the rope. "Well, I am the heiress of the main branch of the Hyuga clan." Hinata heard Naruto mumble sarcastically through the rope, Royalty. Sarcasm lost to Hinata as she continued her story, not I if my father had anything to say about. He views me as an failure, which only got worse ever since mommy died. Naruto stopped to ask, how did she die? Giving birth to my sister 2 years ago, Hinata stuttered sadly while Naruto went back to work on Hinata's binds. I miss her, and I feel alone without her. The others think I'm weak, that I am not as strong enough because I wanna be kind to everyone. My father TT tells me I'm useless to my face. They are also cruel, especially to those they consider to be socially below them. The worst part is that I don't think my father ever cared about me and probably doesn't know I'm gone. He's always so cold and strict, especially when it comes to me. After Hinata laid down her sad story, Naruto could only mumble with the rope in her mouth, no offense Hinata, but your clan is bastards with your mother and present company excluded, of course. After Naruto's reply, Hinata could not help but giggle as Naruto undid the last knot on Hinata's binds around her hands. Once freed, Hinata did quick work of Naruto's binds, and the two were free. Released and ready to run towards freedom, which Naruto knew nothing about navigation and depended on Hinata, who figured Konoha was to the west. So they ran as fast as their feet could carry them towards Konoha. She only stopped for a breather after running non-stop for nearly 20 minutes. During said break, Naruto told her about how she was an orphan, and how she hated that others only wanted to use her as a tool. She only related her story after Hinata's promise to keep it a secret. She also explained what her bloodline unlocked among other things. Naruto did not know why but felt she needed to tell the truth to gain her trust. Naruto heard 9 of 9's thoughts and agreed with her in her mind, as you should. Trust is key to any relationship. I certainly would not have told you everything if I didn't trust you Naruto-chan. I'm sorry, Hinata said sadly. Don't be, compared to other Jinchurikins and to your life, I have had it easy, though I could do without the power-hungry morons or the plain ignorant. I must say you are strong just being you. You are able to be kind to others after a life like yours. That trait shows a real strength and character, Naruto emphasized dramatically with a smile, while Hinata could not help but giggle and blush at the compliments. The two were then about to leave when they heard a crack and turned to see a storm of kunais coming down on them. Naruto reacted quickly and pushed Hinata out of the way before she was littered with kunais. Hinata looked up in silent horror to see the Cloud Nin without the wrapping appeared and was marching over, towards them. Hinata could clearly see a tall man that had a short black beard and black slanted eyes. His face, a dark tan skin turned red with his anger as he stared at the two girls before him. You damn bitches. The Cloud Nin yelled out. I spent months on this operation. Paying off the right people in Konoha before having them all killed. Having those merchants in a caravan killed while leaving enough evidence to lay the blame on a small village. Then having my men use their wagons to sneak past Fire Country's patrols to a rendezvous spot. Then to spend several days personally observing the Leaf Nins and Hyuga's patrols so I can sneak in and out easily. All this I plan, and I'm not going to have my plan spoiled by 2 little runaways. The man was panting in anger before he calmed down to be reasonable. Now, you two will surrender, and maybe when your time comes to ensure Kumo have your bloodlines, I will make sure your time will be gentle instead of a living nightmare. Naruto glared while Hinata stared at Naruto's defiance. The heiress could not believe how strong Naruto was. She was down on the ground, at the mercy of this man, and yet she was not giving up. She needed to be as strong as her. While she had a moment, she remembered what Naruto said, I have to say you're strong, just being you. Hinata decided what she would do. She summoned her chakra into her right hand and eyes. The flow of chakra in her eyes activated her Byakugan, apparent with the veins around her eyes as she moved into a forward fighting jab stance as her hands began to glow. That glow was the Cloud Nin's only warning just before she attacks the man once he was close enough to strike. She hoped to hit at the chakra point near the heart to paralyze his heart so they both could escape. She had succeeded in hitting him, but not in his heart as she intended as he brought his arm up to block her attack. Hinata was only able to disable the chakra pathway and a nerve cluster in his right arm, making it useless for several hours. You damn bitch. The man yelled as he smacked Hinata hard into a tree. As Hinata slowly tried to get up, but she was kicked down while the Cloud Nin threatens her. I'm going to break the bones in your arm and legs. Let's see how you run and attack me then. You will do no such thing to my daughter, a voice growled behind the Cloud Nin. The Cloud Nin turned to a man with long hair and white robes. However, what honestly intimidated the ninja was the marked contrast of veins in Hyashi's wide eyes and his grimed expression that held complete rage at the man before him. The rage that bubbled to the surface as the older man said slow, steady dark tone, there is nowhere to run. Your men are being captured or killed by our Anbu as we speak. Surrender or die. Hinata's father demanded while taking an attack posture with hands pointed straight and chakra pouring through them. The Cloud Nin decided not to surrender as he rushed Hinata and grabbed her by the neck. Move back, or I'll snap your daughter's neck, Hiyashi. Hinata's father, Hiyashi, looked wide-eyed at the man as his anger dispersed to fear for his daughter. If they were not in danger, Hinata would be surprised father cared about her as he backed away in fear. Giving the man time to plan for an escape as Naruto laid on the ground having a private conversation with Colonel 9 of 9 in her head as she slowly pulled out the kunais one at a time. 9, am I healthy enough to move? You are, 9 of 9 replied in her head. However, I asked you to be careful, you nearly gave me a heart attack when you were covered by those kunais. Don't scare me like that again, Naruto-chan. I'll try not to, Mom, Naruto said with sarcasm, expecting a snide comment, but got silence instead. 9, are you alright? It's nothing, dear, just kick some butt, 9 of 9 told Naruto happily as Naruto silently nodded. Naruto then held onto one of the kunai while she summons her chakra from wind, fire, and lightning before making a dash to the Cloud Nin to save Hinata. The older man did not even realize Naruto was up and about until she came up behind the Cloud Nin and struck. It was a clean cut of the man's hand and arm, which she cauterized while also made into a twitching mess to force the man to release Hinata. Naruto then grabbed Hinata and ran a short distance away while Hiyashi moved in for the kill. The Cloud Nin looked at Hiyashi with fear when he stated, "You're within my range," before using 8 trigrams 128 palms. He struck the ninja in order of slowest to fastest by attacking 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64 and 128 times with his open, flat, pointed, palm. By the time he was done, the Cloud Nin had fallen backward, dead as every chakra point. Every nerve cluster and every living part of the Cloud Nin was shut down. Naruto only said, "That's cool," before falling down exhausted. The last thing she remembered was Hinata gently holding her as Hiyashi looked at them with a small smile trying to form on his face. Scene 2. It was a bright white world Naruto slowly awoke to with a blurry vision as her eyes adjusted to the light. At the edge of her version, she noticed she was not alone as she turned to the image. The image started to clear to a distinctly elderly man in robes that gleamed white, along with a pointed hat that had the words Third Hokage on them. A man. Naruto felt she should recognize the man and realized why as the image cleared up. A face she recognized with every boil, wrinkle, and gray hair on his short white beard. A face that held 2 eyes that was stern, yet caring. "Hokage Gigi?" Naruto asked grudgingly. "Good morning, Naru-chan. How are you feeling?" the Hokage asked his unofficial granddaughter. "Like I went to sleep too many times, too early to sleep and also slept too long," Naruto stated as she stretched. "Yeah, I think it is unusual for you to sleep less than 6 hours and not be able to sleep again unless awake at least another 16 hours of your usual case of insomnia," Hokage nodded while remembering the insomnia problems she has due to the energy surge she gets from the QB. "Hey, that is not insomnia. Trust me, I knew people who did not sleep for 5 hours after a full day of being awake. Don't accuse Naruto of having insomnia." 9 of 9 screamed loud enough for Naruto to wince. "Naru-chan, are you alright?" the Hokage asked, genuinely concerned. "I'm fine, just 9 yelling at me in my mind," Naruto explained. "9?" Hokage asked with a bit of worried in his voice. "Colonel 9 of 9, you know her better as QB," Naruto bluntly answered the Hokage. Now the Hokage was about to have a heart attack as he chorused answer from Naruto, "I think you better explain what you mean." Therefore, Naruto explained how the QB was actually 9 of 9, how they met, her history, and the changes that QB had made in Naruto. All the while, the Hokage thought about what this all meant and how he was going to explain this to the council. He could already see that there would be a heavy debate and a mountain of paperwork for weeks to come if he does not come up with a solution right now, or at least one before rumors have spread if they had not already. "Well, Naruto, that is an interesting story, and certainly explained a lot about you," the Hokage nodded before he continued to speak. "However, this presents some serious problems on what to do with you. As you may no doubt be aware, you hold a very rare bloodline, and we need to think of ways to protect it while preventing others from exploiting you. That's including several influential clans and members on the council." "Why would clans be interested in my bloodline?" Naruto asked. Hokage sighed before he continued to explain. "The elemental star is a very old bloodline that was thought to be a dojutsu and an elemental bloodline. Its power is the ability to use all 5 of the main elements. When you master them, you can use the secondary elements with the primary elements combined. Also, after mastering each element, a triangle will appear with a specific color per element. Red for fire, blue for water, brown for earth, yellow for lightning and finally white for wind. Once completed, it will resemble a 5-point star. However, What truly makes it such a valuable bloodline is that it can be combined with several other bloodlines. Is that possible? Naruto asked. I thought you couldn't combine bloodlines. In rare cases, you can be combined with different types or closely related bloodlines. Like two elemental bloodlines where one of them is the same main element, the Hokage explained. However, the elemental star can be combined with other bloodlines, no matter how incompatible they may be. It was even rumored that the Senju and Uchiha clans have combined them with their Makuten and Sharingan bloodlines, and their bloodlines evolved to new lines of power and beyond what they imagine, at least according to legends. Well, that's great news, Naruto said sarcastically. So, what needs to be done to prevent me from being a first-come, first-served toy? Hokage snorted at Naruto's joke. The only way would make you a new clan, using your father's resources under a different name. When the Hokage had said the words fathers, Naruto had honed in on it to ask, so am I mature enough to know who my father was? I believe you are. In fact, I was going to tell you yesterday, like the house you were moving to belonged to your father. The Hokage pulled out a letter addressed to her. Naruto opened the letter, and she began to read it to herself. My sweet little Naru-chan, if you are reading this, then you are considered old enough by your mother. If your mother isn't there, then the Hokage thinks it's best to give your inheritance in this letter. First of all, I want to say I am sorry I made you a Jinchurikin to the QB, but I had no other choice. The fox could have destroyed us all if I don't stop it, and I couldn't ask a parent to do what I couldn't do. I just hope Sarutobi or my successor is able to protect you with Kushina-chan, your mom. Especially as I never applied clan status for added protection, assuming that would even help. Now, I hope the villagers are treating you well, but I know some will not. I can only hope that most will honor my wish to see you as a hero. If not, then I damned them and myself to hell and hope you find happiness in whatever you pursue. I wish you a long life, my sweet Naru-chan, and I hope that you find friends that will be with you for life. And never forget that I always love you, and please take care, my sweet little girl. From your loving father, Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage. P.S. You better not being seeing any boys until you are at least 16. Naruto smiled before she looked up at the old man to ask, is there any way just to take my father's name and just call it a clan? I am sorry, Naruto, but that is not possible, the Hokage sighed. If you take up your father's name, then you make yourself a commoner. That makes it easier for others to lay claim to you for their family or clan. I am sorry, but you need a new family name to be given clan status. I can still give your father things to you by saying it was given to you by your father's will, you just can't take the name with it. Naruto was bewildered. So I can't take my father's name as his name is that of a commoner, but I can create an entirely new name, and that can be made into a clan name. How exactly does that make sense? It's politics, it's not supposed to make any sense, the Hokage explained. He speaks the truth, Naru-chan. No matter what area you are in, politics never makes sense. 9 of 9 explained mentality. Okay, how about Ryu? Naruto asked. Dragon? The Hokage asked. Why would you name your family a word that means dragon? Well, dragons are supposed to be able to master a single if not multiple elements and protect what they consider precious. I don't see why not, Naruto explained as if it was simple. Hokage chuckled before stating, well, Ryu it is. While the Hokage chuckled, Naruto remembered another part of the letter. Hokage Gigi, what about my mother, Kushina? What happens to her? The Hokage lost his chuckle as he looked down sadly. I'm afraid things are not going well for your mom. You see, she is very much alive, and before you become upset, let me explain why she is not there for you. The Hokage quickly explained to cool Naruto's righteous anger that would have formed. You see, your mother belongs to the Uzumaki clan, a clan that your mother went out of her way to say she was never from. The Uzumaki is a royal clan that originally held the elemental star until they breeded to extinction. However, even without the bloodline, they are the wealthiest family in the known world and very influential with several bloodlines in their family tree. At one time, they were a clan dedicated to peace but changed under the leadership of Yokoshima after her husband died. Now they've become a hated clan as they use their influence for their own gain or amusement. The bloodline civil war in Water Country being a prime example, as they use their power to make the war dragged on by making sure neither side gained too much power, the Hokage explained. Naruto was appalled at what the books called a war of genocide by the Mist Forces with only the bloodline clans and the Mist rebels fighting against them. Your mother was the best of the Uzumaki clan and was the clan's heiress despite being considered too soft for showing mercy to enemies that are no longer a threat. Though on a lighter note, she is also known to have a fiery temper and stubborn attitude. I can see you have inherited the stubborn attitude. The Hokage chuckled before continuing. When she met your father and decided to do what others in the past have done, she ran away and married into the other's family. Unfortunately, They wouldn't let your mother go on like the others, for she is the granddaughter of Yokoshima, Sarutobi admitted to a shocked Naruto. The Uzumaki tried for years to grab Kushina, and they succeeded the day Kyuubi, 9 of 9 attacked. The Uzumaki came forward with an ultimatum to your mother while she lay exhausted in the hospital. She could disown you and come with them, or you both would die. To prove their point, they brought her a child from the Aburame clan, a clan known to bond with deadly insects and having the best security in the whole village, to kill in front of her. Needless to say, she agreed, and we had to review security. It was deathly quiet when Naruto asked, "And now?" The Hokage sighed before continuing, "Now she is an informant, giving us information whenever she can with whatever they have trusted her with. Generally, it is the only information that most of the clan already knows. She would try to get more, but she has been protecting her second daughter, your younger half-sister, Naruko." "I have a half-sister with an actual girl's name?" Naruto asked with a small twitch. "Well, that was what Minato wanted to name you Naruko after they discovered you were a girl instead of the boy they expected. However, Kushina was too stubborn to change the name that they had chosen for you the moment you were born. So Minato rolled with it. On the bright side, you are named after the main character of what they consider the greatest book of all time." The Hokage chuckled before he got serious again. "As for how your sister came to be, Kushina doesn't remember how it happened and I won't go into any more detail." 9 of 9 had explained it to Naruto in her mind. In other words, she was given something of what is called a date rape drug, and she was made submissive towards acts no child should ever hear. This is specifically why you should never accept anything from strangers or people that you do not trust. Especially, if they try to give you free candy or food, or words they say it's true without proof. Naruto nodded to herself in understanding and grateful. She also began to notice that 9 of 9 was acting like her mother, and oddly enough, those thoughts gave her a bit of warmth. From what Kushina explained, it was apparent her child belonged to some clan chief in the jungle wastelands down south, Sarutobi explained. Later the clan chief, his advisors and most of the village's leadership mysteriously died, and the Uzumaki claimed their lands. That was one of many events that make the Uzumaki famous and why they are known as bastards. The room was silent for a moment before Naruto blurted out, "Where do I sign to make sure that the Uzumaki can't claim me?" "Just sign here, and once I find a witness willing to sing along with your former guardian Lily, it will be done," Hokage explained. "You don't have to look far, Hokage-sama," a stranded voice carried behind them. The two turned to see it was Hiyashi speaking while Hinata timidly stood beside him along with an elderly woman. "I hope you don't mind, but I would like to sign as a witness as a thank you to Miss Naruto for helping my daughter escape." "It was just as much that she was helping me escape as me helping us escape." Naruto smiled to a blushing Hinata who was happy to receive the praise. "Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind if you helped me out as well," Naruto quickly added before she said hello to her caretaker, "Hey Lily Obayasan. How are you doing?" "I'm fine. Just watching you give me a heart attack when the Hokage said you never showed up at home," Lily said with a smile as Naruto was alright. "Sorry about that, but I didn't see the Cloud Nin coming, honest," Naruto joked before switching gears. "Speaking of Cloud Nins, what happens to them?" "Both the dead and survivors were turned over to the daimyo of Lightning Country," the Hokage explained. "He was not too happy that the Raikage went against his wishes and attacked a caravan from his country. He especially didn't like how this made him look like an evil man. I believe he killed the Raikage using his most trusted clan, the Bestia, while he appointed Elite Jonini as the new Raikage. Lightning was all too willing to pay compensation to prove he was serious about peace. So it was a good day for the Fire Country as our skirmish was finally over." It was quite as Naruto signed some papers to create the Ryu clan under the Hokage's protection, with Lily, Sarutobi, and Hiyashi signing them to be official. Once the papers were signed, the Hokage asked the girls to leave while he and Hiyashi had a talk. Lily promised to watch over the two while the two men talked. As soon as the girls were out the door, Sarutobi looked at Hiyashi and asked, "Why did you help Naru-chan?" "I told you, I love my daughter and would do anything for her," Hiyashi told Sarutobi. "I may not be able to show it, but I do care." But Hana was the only one that could show her any affection. There was a brief moment of silence before Hiyashi asked, "Who do you plan to watch over Naruto Ryu while she is training to be a ninja?" "I plan to have two of my Anbu, Inu, and Tenzo, train her in elemental manipulation and jutsus," Sarutobi explained. "They already have experience teaching her, and I can easily assign them to train her and have someone else deal with their training. I also plan to add two Kunoikis to the group. One is a special Jonin, borderline Jonin who is a master of martial arts, torture, assassination, and seduction. The other is a newly minted Jonin who is a master in genjutsu, chakra control, and seduction as well." "Why would you pick Kunoikis that specialized in seduction?" Hiyashi asked. That kind of career choice, while rewarding, is considered the most demeaning to kunoikis that serve the leave. Sarutobi nodded in response. While it is true they were trained in subduction, especially since both had served on the seduction corps, it is not their main specialty or primary mission. In fact, they are two of my most talented ninjas, and more importantly the only ones available of my elite kunoichi. It will bring a well-rounded team that will train Naruto, along with anyone else that joins Naruto as I going spin it as group training section. She won't accept private tutoring nor would council approve of it with so many ninjas out of the way. I need to protect her until she is old enough. This way, I can also easily suggest to the council that it can be an after-school function to help those who need help, or just want extra training before they become Jonin. Hiyashi nodded at the proposal. In that case, I want Hinata to train with Miss Naruto. The Hokage raised an eyebrow to ask Hiyashi to elaborate. Hinata made more progress in a day with Naruto than years training in the Hyuga's compound under traditional methods. The fact she won't receive any more training from the clan when her sister Hanabi turns 3 will be enough of an excuse to have the two train together. Hokage nodded in agreement and let Hiyashi go before calling one of his Anbu, Cat. A purple-haired woman with a cat mask appeared and bowed at the Hokage. Get me elite Jonin Kakashi Hitake, aka Inu, Jonin Yamato, aka Tenzo, Jonin Kurana Yuhi, and special Jonin Anko Mitarashi. Tell them I have a special project for them that are very important to the village. I also want you to appoint 2 new Anbu to train the recruits. Now go. Yes sir, right away sir. Cat bowed before disappearing in a mirage, leaving the Hokage time to fill out the paperwork needed to get this project going before selling the idea to the council. Never knowing his actions would set things in motion. Scene 3. In a distant land, a tanned 5-year-old girl with long, light red hair danced around her speared opponent. Her green eyes flashed no emotion as she circled around her opponent in an arena. She paid no heed to the silent spectators, as only one of the spectators was concerned about her mother. Her mother, a beautiful young woman whose red hair resembled that of a ripe tomato while her dark blue eyes were shadowed by kindness and sorrow. She could not look at her mother's eyes as her darker-skinned, 10-year-old combatant was fighting for his life, a life that she would soon take. As soon as the boy jabbed with a spear, the girl struck by first batting away the spear before bringing the sword down to the boy's knees. The boy screamed as he fell to the ground, but he soon stopped as the girl stabbed the boy from behind into the boy's back and through his chest. She quickly pulled out her blade, and the boy's body bleeds out on the ground. A pool of blood slowly formed from the corpse she had created, and as she bowed to the boy that would so be thrown out like trash. The girl showed nothing as she sheathed her sword, silently giving a mental bound of sorry to the dead boy as she received a single clap from a woman that looked eerily like her mother. Except for a few strains of gray in hair and a few wrinkles that made her look like she was in her late 40s. Instead of her actual age, which was around her 80s. The girl felt her skin crawled as the woman said in a happy, yet calm voice, "Well done, my granddaughter. Don't you agree, Kushina? She was almost as skilled as you were at that age." "Yes, mother," the girl's mother reluctantly agreed before turning to her daughter. "Come Naruto." Naruto nodded quietly as she left the stage to be with her mother, Kushina, while the clan's servants removed the body. Naruto was given small comfort by her mother as an elder got her grandmother's attention. "Lady Yokoshima, while this grand showing for a girl so young, you did say you have important news." "You are quite right. You there, give us your report." Yokoshima ordered a red-head Uzumaki ninja to report. "We received information from Konoha that the half-breed from Konoha had something extraordinary happen," the ninja reported. "The elemental star is reborn in one Naruto, formerly Uzumaki. And with her bloodline, Konoha had decided she be given a new clan called the Ryu clan." There was quite a commotion when they heard the news that their long-lost bloodline was reborn in the form of the banished mud of the family. "How is that possible?" an elder asked. "From what we know, the bloodline was stabilized by her father's genetics while the Kyuubi's chakra reactivated the bloodline," the ninja answered. "Which means any chance of our clan having the elemental star again will be zilch without little Naru," Yokoshima smirked. "Well Kushina, I guess we were too quick to make you disown your daughter. Too bad she will hate you for disowning her, but I bet you're proud of her being the first Uzumaki in centuries to have the bloodline." "I am very proud," Kushina had stated while she silently smiled. Kushina hoped Yokoshima never finds out that Konoha knows she is the Leaf's informant or she would be used as bait for Naruto before she is killed, if not torture for a lifetime. "I bet you are and will be even prouder once you hear this," Yokoshima added while telling her ninja to continue. Naruto also seems to have been in contact with Kyuubi, who apparently is named Colonel 9 of 9. A synthetic creature made several centuries ago. The creature had downloaded information into Naruto's brain that includes basics of chakra and technology that had long forgotten. Technology that could change the balance of power in the elemental countries, perhaps even the world. There was now loud mumbling and demands to call her back to the clan. "We can't call her back. We had disowned her, and they're not going to give her up," Yokoshima stated. "However, we can still retrieve her outside the village, or if need be inside once a certain snake attacks." Many nodded in agreement while Yokoshima turned to Kushina, "And you will help us retrieve her or face some dire consequences." Kushina almost growled as she held her youngest daughter's hand for comfort. "Yes, mother." "Good girl, and don't think for a second of trying to delay the recovery or fail our purpose. If you fail beyond reason, then I would regretfully have to kill your daughter. Please don't make this old woman kill her second grandchild," Yokoshima stated while holding up her left hand that had the seal array on it as a reminder that all she needed was chakra to kill the two. Yokoshima then dismissed Kushina and Naruto, with a smile on her face. Kushina glared while Naruto tugged on her to leave. The two moved silently away from the elders. When the two were gone, an elder turned to Yokoshima to state, "She is becoming more and more stubborn and bold, Lady Yokoshima. It may be a good idea to kill them both now before they could cause trouble." Yokoshima disagreed with the elder. "She is my late husband's daughter even after his terrible accident. However, despite her nature, she is too valuable as a ninja. She always succeeded in numerous critical missions, and she was instrumental in pushing back the natives in the southern jungle wastelands. Not to mention her daughter is too skilled to ignore. Who will also be loyal once we break her of her mother's kindness, which will be soon if the match was as any indication. Besides, we have only been giving her basic information, and we will continue to limit her knowledge as we complete several of our top-secret projects." Yokoshima then held up her hand to indicate that the discussion was over, as her face took on a predatory smile. "Also, if Kushina even thinks of betraying me, then both she and her daughter's lives are forfeited thanks to the death seals drawn on them. It will take Jiraiya years to disarm them without killing them, and that's assuming the elected councilors and representatives of Fire Country's assembly or the Hokage will order Jiraiya to do, since they probably believe she is a traitor. So don't worry about Kushina, I have her on a tight leash." Yokoshima then moved to the council to give her speech. "Retrieving little Naru has come from a laughable proposition to a position of prime importance. We need not only her bloodline that is ours by right but the knowledge from the Kyuubi that was lost to the whole world. The knowledge that little Naru will soon acquire as the Kyuubi helps her. We must get her at whatever the cost, and I have a plan on how to do it. A plan that will not only restore the elemental star to our clan but also give us tools long lost that will place the Uzumaki clan where they rightfully belong as the supreme lords and ladies of the elemental nation among the rest of the world. We will succeed for we are the true Uzumaki." And like many other tyrants throughout history, she was met with thunderous applause. Chapter 3 Sinai. It has been a hectic time for Naruto and Hinata as the days continued to fly by in the last 4 months. During that time, Hinata met Naruto's friend Tenten, an older athletic girl in a pink battle dress. Stronger than average, with her brown hair bound into 2 buns to resemble panda ears that no one dared to tease her for as she had a vicious streak under that innocent face. Despite such a streak, Hinata found Tenten friendly enough, as she was loaded with information, especially about ninjas and the Ninja Academy during evening hours. In the morning, she went to school as the Ninja Academy only gave breaks on holidays or for 2 weeks at the beginning of each season. Tenten had found school boring. The Ninja Academy focused almost entirely on history and politics for the first 2 years to explain the current political atmosphere in the elemental counties, starting with the Great Five countries, fire, lightning, water, wind, and earth countries, spread around the old-shaped continent spread coast to coast. They also did a brief workout before the boys, while girls were taught infiltration and blending in techniques. She particularly hated that part of the female teacher insisted on tea parties, hairdressing and flower arranging during those classes. To tomboys like Tenten and Naruto, they would rather spend the whole day training than going to tea parties for a minute. Back at the training field, they had 4 teachers giving them lessons. The first was the silver-haired Kakashi Hitake, who looked bored with only his face mask on. Beside him stood Yamato, aka Tenzo, a man with dark brown hair and soulless black eyes that framed his terrifying face. Between Kakashi and Tenzo were 2 women. One was Kurenai Yuhi, a soft, angelic woman with caramel skin and a distinctly curvy body covered by bandages. She had flaming red eyes and fluffy black hair that added to her exotic image as a genjutsu mistress. The second one was Anko Mitarashi, a purple-headed minx with gray eyes that gleamed with mischief and promised pain. Her voluptuous body covered by a mesh suit that went from her neck to her thighs and topped only by a wimpy skirt and brown trench coat filled with enough sharp pointy things to kill an army. Naruto remembered their first meeting. Flashback 4 months ago. It was 3 days since the lightning incident, and the group was meeting in a new training field adjacent to a 15 meters, 47.2 feet, high waterfall that dropped into a river. The fourth Hokage had commissioned the area before he died. Therefore, the girls were the first to train on the new training field. "Hello my sweet little girls and welcome to our first day of class," Kakashi introduced himself, while observing the three girls that stood before him. Waiting in anticipation to be trained in what is probably their only career choice, as their whole family were ninjas, or had no other future as an orphan without an adopted. Since this program was designed to train you as shinobi or kunoichi, we will train you in several aspects of ninja training, including chakra control/stamina, jutsus up to C rank and a few other tricks for an added punch, Kakashi explained. "I am Kakashi Hitake, and I am a jack of all trades and a master in elemental jutsus. I am Yamato, and I specialize in bloodlines, especially Makuten, my bloodline, despite not being a member of the Senju clan as most that use Makuten are. Don't ask me why, for it will take too long to explain," Yamato added. "Hello, I am Kurenai Yui," the woman purred, in a soft, gentle voice. "I will be training you in genjutsu and chakra control." "I guess that leaves me," Anko chuckled maniacally. "I am Anko Mitarashi, and I will be training you in martial arts and stamina. I would have also been training you in seduction, since Kurenai is too much of a prude to let me, despite being last night's partner." "Anko," Kurenai yelled. "What? It's nothing to be ashamed of, and I bet Asuma would be interested in the fact you play both sides due to our train." "Anko, I am warning you," Kurenai growled. Okay, I'll back off," Anko laughed as Kurenai smiled at her teasing friend. All the while, Naruto looked strangely at them. Tenten was cackling, and Hinata was blushing like crazy. Anko developed a predatory grin. "Ooh, now that I have your attention, let's see how in shape you are with a little game." It called, "Run or Become a Pincushion." The girls looked in horror as Kakashi pulled out a book and chuckled while Yamato stoically gazed on. Kurenai was the only one concerned about their safety, but let Anko train them if she does not harm the girls. The girls spent the day running and dodging Anko's throw, with only an occasional break when Kurenai gave them training in chakra control. Naruto and Tenten had just finished the early stages and were able to keep chakra floating over their foreheads, while Hinata trained in the more advanced chakra control like walking on water. Her bloodline, the Byakugan, provided her superior chakra control over the other girls. End flashback. After a week of training, Naruto, Hinata, Tenten, and 9 of 9 in Naruto's mind agreed that when it comes to their teachers, Anko was crazy and physical, Kurenai was kind and caring, Tenzo was scary yet impassive, and Kakashi was sadistic and lazy. Overall, a fascinating and potentially nasty combination of teachers that could drive you insane makes you into a great ninja or both. For the first 2 months, the girls trained hard in chakra control and exercising in Anko's style. Naruto and Tenten finished training with leaves, surface walking and then tackled water walking. Hinata was demonstrably more advanced as she did kunai balance exercise, using chakra to balance the point of a kunai on her palm while doing other lower-level chakra controls at the same time. The only exercises none of them had done were quicksand/whirlpool walking, a skill only high chunin or jonin train in. They also trained physically in Anko style that increased their stamina, and in turn increased their chakra stores. Now the girls were low chunin level in control and standards with a few exceptions. Hinata had reached jonin level control due to her bloodline, and Naruto's chakra level was near high jonin, influenced by 9 of 9 who supplied her with chakra. Once Hinata completed her chakra control training 2 weeks early, began training in elemental manipulation. She found out she was attuned to water, which was odd as the Hyuga's standard element was earth. Her affinity for water explained why she was inept with her family style, as it centered on a firm power stance over a flexible one. While Hinata trained at level 1 in the chakra manipulation of water, Anko helped Hinata create a new flexible version of the gentle fist. While Hinata trained in her new style and element, Naruto and Tenten moved on to begin training in their own elements. Naruto started with wind element, followed by water. She wanted to increase her weakest areas, her speed and flexibility, first opposed to her above-average intelligence and stamina. She completed her training in the earth element to be physically tougher. However, Naruto decided that she wanted to become faster and more flexible first to avoid projectiles altogether rather than being able to withstand more damage. Tenten also got her choice when they made a surprising discovery. Flashback. Alright Tenten, add some chakra, and we can determine what is your strongest element before we start training in your elemental manipulation, Kakashi told Tenten, who nodded half-heartedly. Alright, I will give it a try. Though I don't see much point in it as I want to be a weapon mistress, Tenten mumbled as the teachers and fellow students shook their heads. You and pointy objects, Naruto dejected. You fell in love with him after that old ninja showed us his nunchucks and sword during one of their recruitment drives. I know. It was so cool when he cut up that tree into firewood with a few swipes. Tenten grinned with stars in her eyes. Naruto shook her head as she stated, "Come on Tenten, just see what element you are. Maybe you'll get lucky, and it would be compatible with your dream as a weapon mistress." Tenten snapped out of her daze as she channeled chakra through the piece of paper. What had happened next had been unexpected. Tenten's paper floated down out of her grasp in two pieces. On the right side, it had caught on fire while the left became soggy as the middle disappeared into a puff of vapor. Tenzo examined the paper and blurted out, "Well, it seems we have another elemental bloodline." "I say," Kakashi commented. "I thought the vapor bloodline was wiped out at the beginning of the bloodline civil war in Water Country." "Apparently a few survived," Yamato commented. "What are you talking about?" Tenten asked out curiosity. Kakashi ignored the question as he turned to ask Tenten, "According to Matron Lily's record, you were 1 year old when you were brought to the orphanage. Your parents were killed in the fields of Fire Country, along with multiple refugees from Water Country. Is that true?" Tenten was even more confused. "Yes, but why would that matters?" "It matters Tenten due to the fact the Vepa bloodline belongs to only one clan, the Feidoku, Fire Poison, clan. They are a weapon user clan that can apply their bloodline to increase the toxic effects of their weapons poison or be used as deadly jutsus for their medium to long range attacks," Yamato explained. "They were also a very loyal assassination clan in Water Country. In fact, they were the first clan to fight against the Kaguya when they rebelled and started to attack Kiri, Mist Force's hidden village," Kakashi explained after Yamato. "Unfortunately, that did not save them from the bloodline civil war that followed as they were the first clan to fall due to, ironically, assassination from their fellow ninjas. It appears that a few survived and ran to refugee camps set up near Konoha to process them into Fire Country. You may soon find yourself under clan protection." Tenten could not believe it. She was part of a clan she did not even know about. A clan that had been wiped out in the bloodiest civil war in known history and a war that is still being fought in Water Country. Tenten could not decide if it was funny, sad or in between. Naruto, however, thought it explained a lot. "Well, it explains your preference for sharp pointy things." Tenten looked at Naruto for a second before laughing out loud. "Yes, I guess it does." "I'm sorry, but isn't the B-Blood Bloodline C civil war still going on?" Hinata asked. Her stuttering had considerably faded thanks to Naruto's friendship, Anko's training, and Kurenai's counseling along with constant praises from her teachers and pairs. "Yes, I'm afraid it is," Kurenai stated sadly. "The war was originally supposed to be over years ago, but some group backed the Mist Forces financially. Who is using the money to hire mercenaries to keep everything even in power and numbers," Anko expertly explained while keeping that fact she had ties to the Leaf's torture and interrogation. Intelligence branch to herself. "We have some idea who, but we have no real proof, and we can't really do anything about it for Water Country isn't an ally." Naruto silently stewed as the backers were the Uzumaki, but she snapped out her sickening feeling away to help Hinata cheer up her friends. Once Tenten sobered up, Jonin decided to switch gears when Kurenai asked, "So Tenten, since you have two elements, you can pick either fire or water in your elemental training." And flashback. Tenten had decided to train in fire manipulation first, and she would finish her first level within a week. After she was able to burn the leaf instantly, she moved on to level 2. The task was to throw a flaming kunai at a tree while maintaining enough focus to keep her hand from being burned or from preventing the tree from catching fire. Tenten seemed to be halfway done with level 2, but she had never gone much further due to school. She only had 6 hours to train in elemental manipulation, physical workout, and maintaining chakra control. Naruto, however, could use 10 hours in elemental manipulation, and spent another 6 to 8 hours for chakra control and exercise to remain in good shape. It was amazing what 16 to 18 hours a day devoted to training could accomplish when making startling progress. It also helped that she began to see the white chakra for her wind element as her training progressed. It was similar to how the Hyuga saw chakra and used it to improve their control. All these factors lead to Naruto completing level 2 wind manipulation within 3 weeks as her kunai made a clean cut through a tree. Now, she was working on level 3 of cutting a waterfall into 2 streams at a pace that was amazing. In fact, she was going so fast that Hinata felt she was making no progress compared to Naruto and Tenten. It took Hinata a month to complete level 1 of training. When she finally arrived to level 2, she did not want to continue to believe that she was a burden to the group, despite reassurance that she was making good progress. Her family had perpetrated a real number on her psyche. Flashback. Hinata was having a nervous breakdown while Kurenai and Anko explained the next step of elemental manipulation to her. Naruto stood nearby listening in, as she would eventually train in water manipulation. Hinata's next step was to find a dead piece of bark and revive it by infusing it with water pulled from the moist air through her kunai. However, Hinata was not so sure she could do it. "Maybe I should go," Hinata mumbled. "I don't think I have what it takes to continue in training as I'm a burden." "Who said you're a burden?" Naruto yelled as she could not understand anyone calling her friend a burden. "My clan always told me I was a burden whenever I was slow in learning what was required," Hinata stammered. "Oh honey," Kurenai had said softly, "you are not a burden, but it took me months just to get through level 1, and Kakashi said they get longer in time in training elemental manipulation," Hinata stammered. "Hinata, you can't compare yourself to the other girls as their bloodlines deal with elements. So they are bound to get it quicker, just as you have better chakra control compared to others because of your bloodlines," Kurenai explained. "Yeah, you are like a super ninja when it comes to chakra control. I am not sure I will ever catch up with you in that area," Naruto pointed out, much to Hinata's happy embarrassment. "Brad has a point," Anko stated. "Besides, you also don't count the amount of time you train in manipulation over the fact you are not focusing on just one area but multiple ones that improve your skills across the board. So don't worry about it." Hinata nodded her head. "No, I suppose you're right." "That's the spirit, Brad. Just remember that just because you're not in top 10 doesn't make you a burden," Anko pointed out. "Only those who degrade others are burdens, so ignore them and just strut through and no one can mess with you." Hinata smiled, which everyone smiled in silence as the waterfall roared in the background. End flashback. Naruto reflected fondly on her memories as she put the final touches that would complete her training of wind manipulation. Watching her was Tenzo, who was standing beside Kakashi as he enjoyed his book. He had used the excuse of being an assistant to read lazily, nearby. On the other side of the clearing, Kurenai was watching over Tenten while Anko trained Hinata hard. However, they all stopped as Naruto's wind manipulation held back the waterfall and nearly split its flow into two. Her white triangle became full and apparent when she finally split the waterfall in two. Naruto watched in admiration when she noticed a tunnel 6 meters, 19.69 feet, above her head, just before the water receded. It was a man-made tunnel. Naruto just stood there, looking up at the waterfall receded and hid the unnatural tunnel. As Naruto stared, Tenzo went up to congratulate Naruto. "Good job, Naru, excellent job." Tenzo congratulated the wet girl, but she had other things on her mind. "Tenzo-sensei, can you make a bridge and stairs up around 6 meters?" Naruto asked. "I can." "Why?" Tenzo asked out of curiosity. "I saw something that looks like man-made tunnel above me where I cut the waterfall." Naruto pointed up to the waterfall. "I want to see what it is." "A man-made structure, are you sure?" Kakashi asked as he put his book up. Naruto nodded her head in response, and Tenzo used wood structure jutsu, to create a long wooden bridge and stairs that extended up the water. The action had gotten the attention of the others, and they rushed over to see what Tenzo was doing. "What's going on, Tenzo?" Anko asked first. Naruto found a large tunnel while she was practicing wind manipulation. "She wanted to see what it is," Tenzo had explained while Naruto walked across the bridge with her hand across the river. Naruto continued to walk on the bridge until she felt the open space of the tunnel. She took a step up and walked into the tunnel. Once inside, Naruto noticed it was too dark to see, so she stuck her head out to ask for a flashlight. Kakashi threw her one and pulled a few more out of his seemingly bottomless pouch. Kakashi's reasoning was, "My former sensei always felt you need to be ready for everything. Plus, having everything means I never forget anything, and I am always ready for missions." Naruto then walked through the tunnel with her flashlight while 9 of 9 commented, "This looks too artificial and too old to be made recently. This must be a hideout created during the mechanized war." Refugees and soldiers often made them with plasma laser point drills to hide from the machines, even if they lived deep in Republic Alliance territory in what was one the United States of America. The waterfall must have eroded any carved stairs or rocks that allowed them to get here. "You think we will find anything?" Naruto asked mentally. "I doubt it. The EMP bomb fried anything that ran on or produced electricity, which was practically every tool we used then. That is why humanity had to start over again. However, it wouldn't hurt to look around," 9 of 9 had commented. Naruto nodded as she heard the others arriving from behind. She looked briefly to see that Tenten and Hinata first followed her teachers. As they continued down, they arrived at a door, not made of limestone, but completely made of a material that appeared to be an ablative, silicon metal. "Well, Brat, I have to say it is weird to see a door made out of whatever this is," Anko commented. 9, what is this?" Naruto asked mentality. "I don't know. But I do know the mineral is highly resistant to energy, and if combined with a powerful EMP shield, whatever inside could possibly survive the EMP bomb." Colonel 9 of 9 answered Naruto. I think this is beyond coincidence. Naruto had used her flashlight to look around the door to find a keypad with digits of 3 by 3 numbered 1 through 9. Underneath it was letters, not elemental but in English, French, Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, and Japanese. Do you have any idea what it says? Tenten asked the group. I don't know, they looked similar to elemental in the old tongue temperamental, but it's too different for me to read it, Kakashi commented. 9 says it is in several languages, Naruto told the group. 9? Yamato asked. You know, what I am talking about. The 9 tails we are all familiar with, Naruto explained, as Yamato often had to be reminded the Kyuubi's real name, unlike her friends whom she told them everything related to 9. Well brat, what does it say? Anko asked impatiently. To gain access to her knowledge, press each number to unlock the door by order of magnitude where the middle number 1 is ideal change. For it is the 1 not backward from where 1 is still before 9. Get it right, and the door will open. Naruto read one of the lines. It's an R riddle, Hinata stuttered. Does anyone know how to solve the riddle? Kurenai asked. I do. Colonel 9 of 9 explained. Father always liked riddles. Just press the numbers in the following order. Naruto went to press the number 4 first. Once they heard the locks tied to each key open, Naruto continued pushing them in order of 3, 2, 1, 5, 9, 8, 7, and finally 6. The door unlocked and swung open, revealing that the door was several meters thick with layers of insinuation inside. The room was completely sealed to outside air and held in a vacuum as air rushed into the dark room. Naruto scanned the room with her flashlight, along with Kakashi and Tenzo's, to see what was in the room. The room had many clear metal cases holding clothing and many different tools. The 2 teachers tried to insist that they walk in first, but Naruto's curiosity compelled her to ignore her teachers. She ran into the room until she felt her skin tingle and her flashlight shorted out. An EMP shield. Colonel 9 of 9 exclaimed mentally just before she heard a clicking sound of pressure gauge below her. She looked surprised when she heard a metallic voice spoke in several languages the group could partially understand as it stated, "Please stand still to be identified." Naruto heard a clicking sound before 2 metallic arms appeared. Arms that had gun barrels coated with the same material as the door came down. Its laser sights were pointed at her as the machine added, "Failure to do so will mean your immediate execution." Seeing that Naruto was in danger, the girls tried to run to their friend's aid. Kakashi stopped them from getting everyone killed in their desperation to save Naruto. As the girls were restrained, Anko, Kurenai, and Tenzo prepared to save Naruto with jutsus and speed in case the guns began firing. The group watched patiently as a flash of light appeared around Naruto. She was soon covered with straight lines of lights as if she was being scanned. It stopped when the voice said, "DNA samples taken from subject skin flakes determine subject is 6 to 7-year-old, human female with genetic mutations. Suggest advanced forms of the alpha's genes, as well as the ability to produce bioenergy known as chakra. Some of the chakras analyzed belongs to Project 2A database. Also, determined genetics are not manufactured or cloned." Following security precautions, we will now deactivate security systems and EMP shield while diverting power to lights, mainframes, and environmental systems. Well, I feel violated? Naruto commented as lights activated around her, revealing a world of wonder. A wonder she would not see as she was being hugged to death by her friends as they rushed to her. They were worried, especially Hinata. While Naruto was being squeezed/hugged, Anko decided to teach her a lesson by smacking her in the back of the head. "You damn idiot," Anko yelled. "I thought you were supposed to be smart. You don't run into a room when your teachers tell you to stay back." "You gave us a heart attack, Naruto," Tenzo said calmly before using his flashlight to enhance his scary face. "Don't do that again." Naruto nervously nodded in fear, especially since her friends glared at her and stated that they agreed with Tenzo. While Naruto continued to get disapproving looks, Kakashi decided to break it up. "Alright, that is enough. I am sure it was an honest and common mistake. Why don't we see where we are?" The group looked around to see cave actually had several floors, each wider than the next. It went down several stories connected by several stairs and 4 elevators. At the very bottom were 100 of what proved to be mainframe computers and vents powering up slowly as the generators activated. The collective information held by all the mainframes would prove to be a few dozen petabytes. Information that could be accessed by consoles and computers found on each floor that also held artifacts from a time period before the elemental countries. That included one-of-a-kind books, papers, blueprints, artwork, clothing, and ancient tools. Each item was put onto shelves or racks behind clear, vacuum-sealed containers that were completely insulated from the environment, but still accessible through environmental controls on the side. These items were organized by a period of time, Type in hopefully known creator/author. However, the top room was not just filled with artifacts. The cases held equipment that soldiers used in ancient times as well as what they wore before humanity lost everything during the mechanized war. As the group slowly explored the place and Tenten ruled at the melee of weapons. Some of the weapons she had seen on knights in the eastern region, or samurai hybrids of the two seen here in the west. It was a strange thing to consider that knights originated in the Europe/West while samurai originated in Asia/East. However, that was in ancient times, as Colonel 9 of 9 explained through Naruto. Each of the firearms that were on the soldiers' side in the last 600 to 700 years before the EMP bomb. The group was amazed at the power these weapons could give someone, though the older ninja doubts it would replace jutsus and chakra. As jutsus could be used to not only destroy things but also can be used for stuff like physical enhancements, healing, and illusions, genjutsu. Kakashi and Anko did note that firearms would make excellent support or long-range assassin tool. But the armor was more interesting to the ninjas in the group because it could immediately benefit them. It was designed to stop most kinds of projectiles including knives, while the elite's armor had energy shields used to protect it against all projectiles and extreme environmental dangers like temperatures and energy. Tenten was about to ask more questions about the various weapons when they heard the metallic voice again speak in perfect elemental. Translation program has completed algorithms, entering language into storage for translation to user-friendly systems. Now activating program Dr. Starcroft with translators. Father? 9 of 9 said with reverence in Naruto's mind. On the bottom floor of this structure, a circular platform was activated, as a man appeared to float up for everyone on the top floor to see. It was an elderly man with short gray hair that wore white glasses and had an open white coat. I'll welcome you, my fellow humans, and I hope that not so much time has passed that our computer will be able to provide you with a proper greeting, the elderly man said in the translated voice. My name is Dr. Starcroft, and I humbly say that in my time I was considered one of the most brilliant scientists in the Republic Alliance, and I had a hand in many projects including this secret facility. The group was amazed while 9 of 9 cried inside Naruto's mind as the hologram continued. The reason for this facility is the fact that we had such great potential, but we squandered our gifts. We squandered them due to our greed and arrogance. We tried to make our lives better through machines, and we created a race of machines that were meant to serve us. However, we did not consider the fact that we took a step too far and that it would come back to haunt us. We arrogantly thought we could destroy them anytime we want while we were busy fighting each other. But we soon found that belief to be false as we were on the verge of extinction. We created many weapons and even creatures that were supposed to help us win the war, but even they were not enough. So finally, we devised a desperate plan, an EMP bomb powerful enough to take out every piece of technology throughout the system. A plan that gave the human race a chance to survive but that ended our world at the same time. However, I would be damned if we should lose everything that kept our modern civilization together. So I made this place, a museum of everything we could possibly save. So now, hopefully, you can use this to help you rebuild what we lost. My only hope is that you are able to learn from our mistakes as I give you the tools to create the future. The hologram dissipated and all the computers activated with their hologram screens and keyboards, all written in worded characters of elemental. Naruto immediately went to them and began to pull information off. She looked at the design and technology briefly, as though being reminded about it from the information Colonel 9 of 9 stored in her mind. She also looked at the art, media and electronic books sections and was very surprised. This has everything, from art and entertainment to most advanced designs with hard copies a floor below us. This could revolution everything, Naruto stated while looking through the screen. How is this place getting all its power? Tenten asked. Naruto pulled up the facility designs and pointed out, apparently this place runs on thermal energy absorbed deep underground. That is logical since there are many hot springs around because of the dormant volcano located just a short distance from this place. We need to inform the Hokage of these events, the Kakashi told the group. Well, it may be best if you go and report it, Anko pointed out. It looks like the brats and our two fellows Jonin are glued to the screens. Kakashi looked to see Naruto looking through the designs, and he nodded while I was over her shoulder. In the background, Tenten was admiring all the weapons while Tenzo supervised. Finally, Kurenai was looking at another console at all the different books she planned to read. So Kakashi agreed to leave to get the Hokage while 9 of 9 thought, "Oh father, your legacy will soon be reborn through my daughter. I expect in around 8 years, she will change the world." Scene 2. In a vast room at the base of the tower that held the Hokage's main governmental advisors to the Hokage sits, the council. The Hokage had explained the events on the training field for his new training program. The council agreed the library/museum should be studied and implemented into their forces, but they could not decide on two things. 1. Should they just assign Anbu to guard the area and allow the students to continue train there and maybe benefit from the research first, or should they move the training field and put the place on lockdown? The second was to include Naruto in the project. The main argument against it was that while she would help the project with the knowledge downloaded into her brain, she was still a very young child. After a heated debate, they finally reached a conclusion. So it is decided, the Hokage spoke. The training field will remain open, but the entrance to the library will be off-limits and guarded by Anbu. My men will move the waterfall away from the entrance for elemental training. The Hokage then pulled out his trusted pipe before moving on. Also, Naruto will be allowed access and work with our research and development teams to hopefully shorten the time it will take to adapt the technology for our use. In exchange she can adapt some of the technology for her own use. Why should we allow bad information that will be classified to most people? Spoke a disgruntled civilian who lost land when Colonel 9 of 9 attacked. Troublesome, spoke the head of the Nara clan and the Jonin squad, Shikaku Nara. A clan famous for its shadow control of opponents and lazy, yet genius attributes. Nara had dark hair tied in a spiky ponytail and a distinctive scar on the right side of the face that was partially covered by a small black beard. If you hadn't read the report, the girl is our resident expert due to Colonel 9 of 9, aka the QB. We need her to help figure out how to use this new technology in our lifetime. So it would be most beneficial to have her help the project. It is also too troublesome to allow politics and your disgruntled view of the girl interfere while working at the library. The civilian grudgingly backed down, especially as Shikaku Nara teammates in the Inochoshi sided with the Hokage, and they were sitting right by him. To the right was Inoiki, head of the Yamanaka clan that uses jutsus to allow them to enter minds and control them. He was like his fellow clansmen, very feminine even in a trench coat, with long blonde hair and baby blue eyes. To the left was Choza, head of the Akimichi clan, who could convert their body fat to enlarge specific body parts and in some cases become giants. They maintained their giant appearance through fat, along with the addition of wild, often long, red hair piled high on their head and wore red armor with the words food printed on it. Well then, now that we have that settled, spoke a purple-haired woman named Amel, leader of the Roth clan, aka the Sage Knights due to their ability to use chakra from the air for various techniques. I believe it's time we talked about outside affairs that deal with us shinobi. Amel smiled. Her brown eyes gleamed as she twirled around a stick, which could become the most deadly weapon when she channeled chakra through it to form an energy blade. I agree, the stoic white-eye man Hiyashi, head of the politically powerful Hyuga clan concurred. The Hokage nodded as most of the civilians left the council chamber since the discussion now focused on shinobi matters. Only two remained. One was a brown-haired weapon forger/dealer, and the other was a pink-haired woman who sold all kinds of food and general goods. The two remained to see if they needed to start bringing or stop bringing in goods for a possible conflict, war or aid. Once all the non-essential civilians left, the Hokage barked out, "Ibiki, your report." A man that had a face lined with distinctive scars stepped up. He straightened his black trench coat as he gave his report as the head of the intelligence specializing in torture and intelligence. We have been receiving reports that the Uzumaki clan is spending huge amounts of money and manpower down south while spreading their funds in the elemental nations. In particular, they are supporting the Mist forces to help them in their war, which in turn is helping our Hunter Nin division as we set up traps outside Water Country to take down a lot of missing nins. We are also getting quite the turnout for missing nins bounties that are not our own. A brown-haired, wild dog-looking woman named Sumei Inuzuka spoke. A woman that was not only head of a clan that used dogs as companions and partners for devastation techniques, but she was also the head of the Hunter Nin division. Their spending has no logic as it seems only to delay change and may make Mist more aggressive against them once the rebels win, spoke the stoic Shibi head of the Bug clan known as the Aburame. Also, if they keep this up, they will soon go bankrupt, Shibi added, while he adjusted his black sunglasses and gray coat that hid everything but his black hair and pale cheekbones. Intelligence suggests they will need to stop their operation in 2 years either in the Elemental Nation or the Jungle Wastelands. Otherwise, the clan will find itself in debt with one of the many nations that will either hurt them for past actions or force them to serve them. The purple-haired Anbu commander Yugao, in her cat mask, explained. So all we have to do is wait, and the most influential and threatening clan will run themselves into the ground, Ibiki explained. It also means that the rebels will take longer to win and form a government we can align with. Possibly around 8 years, spoke the spiritual leader of the Nature Clan, Wolf Dreamer. A man with short green hair and white eyes of wisdom as he sat Indian style on his desk as he channeled with his inner animal spirit famous for the Nature Clan. I still believe it was a bad idea not to send our forces to help the rebels Sarutobi, spoke the eerie voice of the war leader of the Nature Clan, Raven Hunter. A man that eyes and hair reflected the spirit and manner of a raven completely. We could end the war now, so we don't have to transfer as much of the money collected from bounties to help the rebels. Plus we could generate more support if we physically aid the rebels. Sarutobi thought a moment before responding to the war leader, who was considered a war hero because he led the Leaf forces against 9 of 9 while she was corrupted. I may hate war, but this is one war I think we would be justified fighting. Unfortunately, the elected members of the Assembly for Fire Country do not agree with us. I was lucky enough to get them to agree to send aid to the rebels, and I don't want to push my luck. So we will just have to hope the war ends soon, the Hokage explained as Raven Hunter reluctantly agreed. Now then, what more is on the agenda? The various minor clans like the Kurume and Pyro clan, as well as divisions like Medical, Research and Development, School and Defense Forces, Militia, began to talk about the current atmosphere. Only 2 seats remained silent, beside the elders who only are allowed to speak privately with the Hokage. One was the Senju clan, a clan that no longer existed in Konoha after the last war. The other clan was represented by a stern man with black hair and black eyes that were as dark as his soul. He was a man who wanted more power, the power to rule and more power for the clan. The power he could gain by controlling a particular blonde girl through any means. A man that's name was on a plaque in front of him, Fugaku Uchiha, head of the Uchiha clan, and head of the police force in Konoha. Too bad not everyone in his clan would agree. Scene 3. It was early in the morning as the 3 girls and 4 Jonin watched the Leaf forces redirect the waterfall away from the tunnel to the library. At the entrance itself, they watched as the whole area was converted into a fortress for the Anbu to guard. As they watched them work, an Anbu with a roster mask approached the group. Kakashi-san, the Anbu saluted to the elite Jonin. We have a young girl that wishes to speak with you. Stepping out from behind the Anbu was a young girl that was timid as she could be, and she flinched as they stared at her. Her long hair flowed in the wind as her dark coral eyes looked at the ground nervously. "Hello little one." Kurenai approached the girl. "What is your name?" The girl whispered, "Tukiko Uchiha." The group was surprised to see an Uchiha come willing to this training field. "You came to train here?" Kurenai asked. "No, I came to warn one Naruto Ryu," Tukiko explained in a nervous tone. "About what?" Naruto asked while blinking rapidly. "Well, it's about..." Tukiko started as she explained her story. Flashback. In the clan compound cut off from the world, Tukiko watched as her cousin trained, a cousin who had not as yet awakened his bloodline, the Sharingan. The Sharingan, when activated, allowed the user the ability to copy any jutsu and martial arts technique. Once a bloodline was activated, it was focused on chakra, turning the clansman eyes red with 1 to 3 commas depending on the level of mastery. Generally, clan children activated their bloodline when they reached the age of 10 to 16. After facing danger or perceived danger. However, if they unlocked their bloodline before the age of 10, they were considered prodigies, unless they came from secondary stock. A position that Tukiko Uchiha was considered to be in. Tukiko despised her cousin. He was considered her superior in the clan despite the fact she had activated her bloodline sooner than he had. In response, Tukiko began copying any technique she could to prove to her clan that she was strong. She has already copied a variety of clan martial arts techniques but had not risked copying a jutsu, until her cousin started practicing fire style, fireball jutsu, a C-rank jutsu that shot out a fireball from the mouth. A technique her cousin succeeded in mastering just now, and she had successfully copied it. She was about to leave to try it out herself, when her cousin, the boy with his black hair combed to resemble a chicken butt, was congratulated by his father, the clan head Fugaku Uchiha. "Most impressive, Sasuke." "Father," Sasuke bowed. "Rise, Sasuke, I have something important to discuss with you," Fugaku told his son before holding out a picture. "Do you recognize the girl in this picture?" The recent picture was of a young girl with blonde hair streaked with red, and teal eyes, each of which had a white triangle above a yin-yang pupil. "I think so, father. She was that orphan you visited once and tried to bring her into the clan since she could provide us with some sort of power. You didn't mention what type." "It is good you remember for this girl, as it is essential she comes to us now more than ever," Fugaku explained with a small smile. "Her name is Naruto Ryu, and she has a bloodline known as the Elemental Star that will make the Sharingan stronger. She also came across other things that will be important for the clan's power base." "But father, didn't you say that women are weak, and their only purpose is to help keep the clan populated?" Sasuke asked blankly, not entirely sure what his father meant. Tukiko was pissed when her cousin implied she was weak. Her anger got worse when his father nodded. "Very true, son, which is why this girl needs to be taught her proper place under the Uchiha." Fugaku then smiled as he patted his son on the back. "Come along, son, it is time I teach you about how and why you need to woo a woman to serve the clan." As Fugaku led a questioning Sasuke away, Tukiko ran to talk to her Aunt Mikoto, Sasuke's mother. And flashback. And she told me to tell you about their plan, and she would stick by her husband to quietly gather any information for you avoid her fate, Tukiko explained to nodding and confused 6-year-olds, while the adults narrowed their eyes. Thank you for the warning us Tukiko, Kakashi said without a care as he smiled at the girl. We will be able to take it from here. Okay. Glad to be of help, Tukiko said with dejection as she moved to walk out the door until Anko stopped her. Say brat, since you gave us the warning, how about we give you a reward? A reward like, say some actual ninja training? Anko asked the talented girl with a gleam in her eyes. Really, I can. I don't want to be any trouble? Tukiko asked while almost shaking like a leaf, out of excitement and a bit of fear. I don't see any problems unless you guardian will mind? Kurenai asked before Anko jumped the gun. I don't have any guardians unless you count Aunt Mikoto as my guardian since she watched over men when parents died outside the village, Tukiko remembered as the sorrow of her parents passing. It was that sorrow that had helped her activate her bloodline early. And she won't mind, in fact, she would encourage me, as she often tells me stories about a time when it was different. Uchiha became the way they are now as they attempted to be the opposite of everything the Senju were. Well, it seems as if it might be alright, right Kurenai-sensei? Danzo-sensei? Naruto asked while Tenten and Hinata sheepishly implored of the two. The two Jonin could not resist, and Anko gave a devilish smirk. Especially after she said, well, since she will just need to get you up to speed. Anko began Tukiko's rigorous new training regimen that was harder than anything she had done before. It was difficult, but worth it in Tukiko's mind for it was the happiest day of her life. She finally had someone to train her. And more importantly, she finally had friends to call her own in the years to come. Chapter 4 Sinai. It has been 2 years since the facility nicknamed the Great Library was found and the Research and Development Department for Leaf Forces began incorporating its secrets and technology to be used around Konoha starting with the rich, or at high-rank ninjas. The rest had to wait for their turn with the technology that changed the landscape of the world unless they were a girl named Naruto Ryu and were friends with the girl. One such friend was Hinata Hyuga, who at this moment was currently in Naruto's house looking for her friend. She did not want Naruto to miss school again because she had been working all night and was determined to find her. Hinata has grown considerably in the last 2 years. Gone was the short hair that resembled a small bowl cut, and in its place was long midnight blue hair that grew to her shoulders. Her clothing undergoes a metamorphosis from simple black top to elegant, lavender long pants and long sleeve shirt. However, it was her confidence that had changed the most. While she still spoke in a soft tone, she also spoke in a commanding manner gained by being her confidence, as she had become the leader that her father wanted. Changes she channeled into herself as Hinata knocked on her teacher's door. A teacher that had become one of Naruto's guards and had been given the task not only of teaching the girls but also protecting the newly established Ryu clan. She did not have to wait long for a response when Kurenai yelled out, "Who's there?" "It's me Hinata. Can I talk to you, Kurenai-sensei?" Hinata asked. It took a bit of shuffling about in the room, as though someone was in there before Kurenai opened the door wide enough for Hinata to come face to face with the exotic beauty of her teacher. Even with her long hair was a mess, and her usual clothes were replaced with a bedsheet. "I am up honey, do you need something?" Kurenai asked pleasantly to the young Hyuga heiress. "Do you know where Naruto is?" Hinata asked softly to a young woman that just woke up. "Yes, I believe Denzo is looking over her at the library," Kurenai told Hinata. However, Hinata did not move and asked, "Is there anything else?" "Yes," Hinata had mumbled, "are you sleeping with someone?" Kurenai's eyes widened for a moment before she spoke to Hinata's level. "You know how babies are made and what is required." Hinata nodded as she had the talk before by her mom about where babies came from when she found out she was pregnant with her sister, Hanabi, before her untimely death. "Well, the potential of making, love is not just limited to making babies. It is sometimes used to find pleasure or comfort with another that needed just as much. Perhaps even express love to each other," Kurenai explained. "Why?" Hinata asked. "Well, it's something that you are too young to know much beyond the basics. I will tell you later when you are 4 to 8 years older," Kurenai told Hinata, but she did not seem content. Kurenai quickly changed the subject. "Hey Hinata, don't you think you need to find Naruto?" Hinata's eyes widened as she rushed out of the house, forgetting her question in search of her friend. As Hinata rushed out, Kurenai released a sigh as she had dodged the sex question for now as a partially dressed Anko appeared out of her hiding place. "You know you can't keep Hinata ignorant about the sins of the flesh or your career choice forever as a seductress. I mean in nothing to be ashamed to admit you slept with other men and women in the line of service and pleasure when you needed a bit of practice," Anko pointed out, much to Kurenai's cringe. "Anko, she's too young to know that," Kurenai stated as tried to defend herself. Besides, this was the last time between partners. I have taken enough high-rank missions and gained enough money for a better lifestyle away from that disgusting career. I will soon transfer out as a part-time member of the Assassin Corps and become a full-fledged Jonin and teacher. My past lifestyle will soon be history. Kurenai, you were 10 when you were taught how to kill and were given a brief description of what would be your future career as a ninja, Anko pointed out. A career that helped you develop a fortune and got you the title of Genjutsu Mistress as you created illusions that seduced or tortured man and woman for information before slitting their throats, or driving them mad. You also made your first kill with Genjutsu at the age of 12 on a supply protection mission and lost your virginity being trained in seduction that same year. That was during the Third Great Shinobi War, Kurenai declared. Where the average Shinin age was dropped by 2 years, and they allowed the whole class to graduate to quickly boost our dwindling numbers. It was a war that had an average casualty rate of 1 out of 3, with casualties becoming higher the longer the war went. Kurenai then sighed, I want her to have the childhood that we didn't have. Anko nodded her head in understanding but still had cautionary words, you can't keep cuddling her forever and pretending you had a different past. Not with her clan breathing down our necks for training their heirs in things outside of the clan, including a new, more flexible version of the gentle fist. The gentle blades. The Hyugas do not like change and have killed people to keep their traditions and only tolerate change if it potentially gives them more power, which they are unsure about Hinata, yet. Not to mention those reports about the Uzumaki and Uchiha clans becoming more aggressive as of late is a concern. Especially the Uchiha have been under a military build-up due to Fuki's tantrum at not getting what he wanted with Naruto being the latest subject. Kurenai grimaced as she remembered the reports, things were getting heated for Leaf forces. Plus, 2 out of 3 of the girls had seen death and all 3 of them did not live the rose life we wanted them to live. You cannot cuddle them from their own reality, Anko finalized her last point. Anko, don't you have a date today? Kurenai asked. Anko's eyes widened. She quickly left to get dressed. That's right. I have this cute guy in T&I that I plan to take out today. Thanks for reminding me. However, Anko could not help giving out a final jab. Well, it's not my problem if you drag your feet. Just remember that there are foes out there that won't wait, especially if one of them is the most sought-out girl in the elemental nations, Anko stated before leaving Kurenai in deep thought. Scene 2. On the cliff face, that one once had a waterfall, Hinata headed up a metal staircase that had been recently installed to allow visitors to reach the ancient library. At the top of the stairs, an Anbu stood in front of a large door sealed by the guard. Hinata showed her ID to the Anbu, who unlocked the door, so she was allowed to enter to retrieve Naruto. She walked deep into the library as she watched the R&D relentlessly work on gathering or adding data to the Great Library. Some of them would be secrets that only a Jonin commander and up could see as they were neatly put them into storage. Looking over the operation was a tall man that was a civilian, as he had no chakra coil. He wore a fancy Western, open jacket suit. The man had a distinctive appearance with short fluffed-up black hair and eyes that glow a bright yellow from a failed experiment. A man that Hinata knew as she softly called him out, Dr. Lost. The man turned to see the small Hyuga girl. Ah, Miss Hyuga, I see you're here to retrieve Naruto, Dr. Lost spoke while taking a puff from his cigarette. She is at her workstation. She fell asleep again after working half the night. We decided to let her sleep, so she gets some rest. She should have enough sleep to function now if you want to wake her up now. Thank you, Dr. Lost. Hinata bowed before walking over to a workstation where the blonde girl lay fast asleep. Naruto had also changed her appearance. She no longer wore simple clothing, but instead a skirt on top of shorts, and a t-shirt with the symbol of the orange fox. Her clothing was black, with trimmed in orange that matches a trench coat that had been given to her by Anko and now hung on the back of her seat. It resembled a black scientist laboratory coat with all the pockets and had orange flames at the bottom tip of the coat. In the center of the coat was an orange fox on top of a yin-yang symbol surrounded by symbols of each element, and at the bottom, it said in English, "A blast from the past," with a science symbol on each side. Naruto's hair had grown into 2 pigtails tied to the back of her head that reached her shoulders. She had also lost much of her baby fat, making her seem more mature than she actually was, but she retained enough of her fat to allow her to keep her cute puppy look, especially because of the 3 distinctive whiskers on each cheek. Hinata smiled as she gently shook Naruto awake. Naruto, it's time to wake up. Naruto stirred as she slowly brought her head up off her desk and rubbed the sleep out of her eyes. As she awakened, Hinata got a good look into Naruto's eyes. Around the yin-yang pupil of her teal-colored eyes were 3 distinct triangles, a white triangle for the wind element, a blue triangle for the water element, and a faint brown triangle for the earth element. To Hinata, Her eyes were the most beautiful eyes she ever saw as they seemed to sparkle to Hinata when looked at them. Naruto worked hard to finish level 3 of water manipulation and just recently completed level 2 of earth manipulation, cracking limestone perfectly with a kunai. That made Hinata a bit envious, since at the moment, she did not want to master level 3 of water manipulation for it required the master to stop a waterfall's flow. Hinata decided to go and master other things. Things that helped her earn first place in martial arts, scouting, and water jutsus while being in the top 3 in many other ninja arts like academics, trap making, and problem solving. It felt good to be congratulated on her accomplishments, and Hinata smiled as she remembered Naruto praising her a month ago for getting first place in martial arts with a big hug. A small smile that was still on her face as the present Naruto stretched in front of her. "What time is it?" Naruto asked. "Early enough that if we leave now, we have 30 minutes before class to start. So if we leave quickly we'll have enough time to talk to our friends Tenten and Tukiko before class starts," Hinata told Naruto. "Give me a minute to get my stuff," Naruto said as she put on her trench coat. She turned to her desk to retrieve her weapons. On the top of the desk were two very special long-bladed swords with an orange hilt that previously had a swirl symbol engraved on them before it was rubbed off and replaced with the leaf symbol. On the right-handed sword was inscribed, "To what we hold true," while the left-handed sword had, "True family bonds are thicker than blood." At the very bottom of each of the sword's hilt were the words, "Property of Kushina, and her true family." They were swords left in Konoha by Kushina and found thanks to a note Kushina added to the Hokage's biannual report as the woman spied on her hated clan. Naruto cherished them along with two pistols in her jacket, made decades before the fall of the Republic Alliance. Like most guns in the last years of the Republic Alliance, they used a magnetic field to fire at a higher force and velocity than any black powdered gun could achieve. However, unlike the guns that used molded slugs carved out of lead bars, the firearm itself used solid, pre-made bullets with special seals stamped on them. Seals that Naruto herself had made by chakra through a heated stamp, and that Dr. Lost had helped mass-produce for Leaf's elites. Naruto used the stamp to create 3 different types of bullets, each in a pair of cartridges engraved with a symbol to tell what type of ammo it was. Naruto took special care of putting each cartridge on her belt along with 4 standard ones. As Naruto was getting ready, Hinata browsed through the jutsu library made by Kakashi. Kakashi found out that while he could give small lectures, and teach high-level chakra control and elemental manipulations, he was terrible at teaching lower-level classes for he did not know how to teach children. So in one of those moments when he was not lazy, he decided that the best way to provide instruction was to add to the library jutsus and techniques not classified from a clan, dojo or owned by a person that he had learned during his training. The girls were particularly happy with the arrangement as they could study most jutsus they liked. Hinata picked a C-rank water jutsu before she joined Naruto, who was fully dressed and eyes filled with mischief. Before Hinata could ask what, Naruto yelled, "Last one there is a rotten egg." Naruto ran out in a deep sprint while Hinata gave chase. She ran out of the forest onto a paved road that led to the academy. Early in the race, Hinata with her superior physical speed soon caught up to Naruto and passed the girl. Naruto watched Hinata past her before she gave chase. Naruto continued to chase Hinata until her superior stamina helped Naruto catch up to a fatigued Hinata and beat her long before they arrived at the academy. When they arrived, Naruto was cheeky as she quickly regained her breath. "Looks like I win, Hinata." "No. Fair," Hinata panted. "You didn't, pant, play fair." "Hinata, we're training to be ninjas." "Ninjas don't play fair," a voice spoke out that Hinata realized belonged to Tukiko. Tukiko now had short, black messy hair that added to the fire in her black eyes. Her outfit included black shorts and t-shirt with blue trims and the Uchiha symbol on the shirt's back. At her sides were holsters used to carry multiple knives. She had become the best in the school when it comes to throwing kunais and knives, as well as close-quarters knife combat. She was also the best at genjutsu and fire jutsus and second in martial arts, with Hinata winning due to being faster and more flexible. She also was accomplished at the use of powerful, fast-acting, repeatable rifles, but she did not plan to carry one until after graduation. "That's beside the point," Hinata yelled as she regained her breath while she glared at her friendly rival. The two were in constant competition, and wherever they competed, one had to be at the top, and the other was a close second. Because of their competition, ties were rare unless it was between all three, or it was in a few areas that Naruto specialized in. "Alright, no need to get in a fit before school starts." Naruto started to calm the two girls down as she assumed her role as diplomat/leader among the three. One she was quite good at despite being the most socially oblivious of the group. Her actions worked as the girls calmed down while Naruto looked around to ask, "Where's Tenten?" She went on to class with her friend Lee. She promised to meet us at the coming of age for the Nature Clan, Tukiko answered. Ah, little me is growing up, Naruto-kun. I cannot wait to see what spirit she'll have, but that will have to wait until this afternoon. Let's get to our class with the rest of the special kids. Yes, the class that has several children that is like Hinata. And that's their fathers or mothers are the current clan heads of the village's clans, Tukiko stated with a smirk. I feel sorry for the teachers given a hard time by the clan heads, Hinata mumbled. I mean my father is ruthless to anyone he thinks would weaken the clan. Imagine how much harder it would be if all the clans followed hereditary succession like the Hyuga, Aburame, and Uchiha, instead of it being just by merit, Tukiko added. I'm glad we have Iruka as a teacher. He is a perfect teacher for he is kind, caring, has a no-nonsense attitude, and yet also fair, Naruto added as she smiled on thoughts about the tanned, scared-nosed teacher that was willing to help any students and freely gave them advice. You especially like him because he recommends tactical books that you love, Tukiko suggested. That too, Naruto commented offhandedly. And the fact he has no prejudice about my second mother. Unlike Mizuki, who must be bribed by Sasuke's father with the way he is acting, Tukiko growled on thoughts about the pale silver-haired Chunin that was Iruka's assistant. I don't like the man, Hinata added as two nodded in agreement with Tukiko. Maybe we'll be lucky, and he'll get fired soon, Naruto suggested as she rubbed her friend's shoulder. Come on, we have the class to go to. As the girls entered the class, they noticed others had arrived and were talking among themselves. Most were the civilians and shinobi children, like Sakura Haruno, a pink-haired girl all dressed in pink, and Emi, a purple-haired girl that also was the local bully. However, more than a third of the children are children of the current clan heads. 3 of the children, Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akimichi, and Shino Aburame, looked a lot like their parents, minus their parents' scarce and facial hair. Others like Ino Yamasaki and Kiba Inuzuka looked like their parents' opposite gender, despite their different tastes in clothing. Ino wore nothing but purple while Kiba wore a gray hoodie. The other 3 were their friends, and they moved over to near the middle of the class to greet them. 2 of the 3 were girls from the Roth clan, and the other was a boy from the Nature clan. The girls were non-identical twins and daughters of the current Roth clan head/matriarch. One of the twins had vibrant green eyes, purple hair and wore black robes while the other had peaceful purple eyes, short brown hair and had white robes. Hey, guys, what's up? One of the girls in the black robes asked. Naruto replied, not much Revan, how you guys doing? Fine, but Bastilla had a little trouble waking up this morning, Revan pointed to her sister. Well, I wouldn't have had a problem if you hadn't kept me up by wandering around the house in your sleep, the brown-haired girl snapped. Sorry, Revan stated, as a white-haired with black stripes boy laughed at them both. His tan skin and brownish-green cloak shook with laughter. Revan looked at the boy with burning anger. Night Wolf, son of Wolf Dreamer of the Nature tribe, tell me, are you trying to piss me off? Kind of, Night Wolf said playfully as he looked into Revan's eyes with his black eyes that glowed with pupils that were white slits. But mostly thinking how cute you are sleeping with your sister. Shut up, Bastilla and Revan yelled together as they both blushed. Naruto shook her head before she asked, so Night Wolf, the ceremony is on later tonight, right? Yep, Night Wolf began to smile. My little sister will soon be a child as her soul will be fussed with a spirit and be given a name. It is an important day for our clan. He then looked to the side to ask, you are going? My sister would be crushed if you didn't come. Wouldn't miss it for the world, Naruto told Night Wolf. Hinata then asked quietly, will the others come? Only Tenten will be going, Night Wolf stated as he shook his head. Shikamaru is too lazy to go while Choji wouldn't go without Shikamaru. And ever since Ino became a fangirl, we have been losing our patience with her. Revan spoke in disgust. Maybe after a few beatings she'll come around, Bastilla spoke calmly, as she mulled over how many girls had lost their way and had taken on the persona of a fangirl. A certain handsome boy named Sasuke Uchiha had become the class heartthrob. He had jet black hair styled in a duck's tail, or as most guys claimed, a duck's ass. Sasuke's fangirls claimed he was the best in the class, and consequently, he flaunted a superior attitude, despite the fact he always scored below Naruto, Hinata, and Tukiko. He also treated Tukiko like trash and Hinata like a worthless rival, while trying to convince Naruto he was the greatest thing the academy had ever seen. Naruto seemed to be oblivious to his charms and despised him for putting down her friends. The group soon switched gears to talk about training, the ceremony, and Tukiko's sweeter cousin, the eldest son of Mikado Uchiha and older brother of Sasuke, Itachi. Itachi was a kind man who believed strength could be found in oneself, and he was one of Tukiko's private trainers at the compound. He was also considered a genius as he graduated from the academy at the age of 8. Itachi has been acting strangely as Tukiko explained how Itachi was questioned due to the mysterious death of his partner by his father, Fuki. The group noted something was strange and talked about it until class started. As soon as the bell rang, the two Chunin, Iruka, and Mizuki walked into class. Iruka called roll as the silver-haired man, and semi-muscular Chunin named Mizuki stared at Naruto and her friend. Naruto stared back at a man whose soul was as black as he was greedy. A man also had a significant dislike for Naruto and anyone who befriended her or made Sasuke look bad by beating him. He went out of his way to make their academic career difficult. He personally gave Naruto more detentions than all the other teachers combined. The girls just knew today would be worse as he gave them a very sinister look while Iruka gave a history lesson on the elemental nations. Scene 3. It had been a long day for the girls as they rushed to the Nature Clan ceremony. It started when Sasuke was a little pushier than usual to the girls and insulting Hinata to the extreme. Naruto responded by punching his lights out for his remarks. Mizuki tried to punish the girls with lengthy and unreasonable detention, but Iruka downgraded the punishment, as Sasuke did provoke them. Their day was still hell as Mizuki had turned a blind eye to the fangirls' harassment all day of Naruto and her friends. He gave a victoriously smirk as if each of the fangirls' remarks was deserved. However, his victory was cut short when school was over, and their detention was deferred until next week. What Iruka knew today was an important day for the girls. After they left the academy, the girls went to an area of the village that held a wooden fort built around wooden houses built within the forest. The two guards at the entrance of the fort smiled at Naruto's group before they led them to the center of the fort where a dancing circle had been drawn into the ground. The ring was surrounded by members of the Nature Clan and their friends. In the center of the circle was a very young tan-skinned girl with dull black hair and black eyes. She seemed like an empty husk of the way she had appeared just a few hours before, and now she waited to be filled, reborn. Within the circle surrounding the girl, Nightwolf turned and greeted the girls with a smile. "Glad you could make it. I wouldn't miss this for the world," Naruto stated as she gave one of her fox smiles. To the side, Tukiko had noticed someone was missing and asked, "Where's Tenten?" "I'm here," waved a brown-haired girl in the short red and white Chinese battle kimono. Naruto and her friends waved back but kept quiet as the main event was about to begin. A man with multiple hair colors and purple eyes with gold slits raised his right hand to silence the room. The man walked into the circle to speak. "Hello fellow members and honored guests. I am Wolf Dreamer, and I wish to welcome you to the spirit dance ceremony of my daughter. This dance is used to allow good spirits to inhabit our children's bodies, to create a stronger connection to nature, and give them strength in a specific element. After the dance, we give the child a name that connects to their spirit animal, but enough explanation as most of you know well of what will come. Let the dance begin," Wolf Dreamer ordered before stepping back into the circle. Alone, the girl began to dance as her clan members began to chant in a low tone that echoed within the large room. A mystic chant that had a beat and tempo demanded that everyone danced. As the chant began, the rocks around the circle began to glow a light green as the spirits formed above them. Each spirit formed into a specific animal: wolf, bear, hawk, crow, raven, canary, dragon, phoenix, coyote, cat, horse, snake, lizard, buffalo, butterfly, beetle, and a fox. Eventually, all the animals joined in the dance as the clan members picked up the heavy chant. The chanting and dancing grew faster and faster, reaching a feverish pace until the chant suddenly stopped. The girl was facing a single animal, a fox. The two bowed down to each other before the fox jumped into the girl and the others vanished into the rocks around her. The girl's hair changed from black to a leafy green while her eyes developed green pupils with brown slits. Her father, Wolf Dreamer, walked up and raised his daughter's hands to announce, "I present to you, Fox Spirit." He then hugged Fox Spirit and said, "I am so proud of you, my daughter." Everyone around the dance ground began clapping and hollering for victory. Nightwolf's face broke into a tremendous smile as he congratulated his sister, followed by Revan, Bastilla, Tenten, Tukiko, Hinata, and finally Naruto. Naruto hugged Fox Spirit as she said, "Well, looks like I don't have to call you brat anymore." "Yeah, I know," Fox Spirit said as her face broke into a fox grins. "But you are to me still my little mini brat," Naruto smirked. "Big fox sis," Fox Spirit yelled as Naruto snickered. "So, what will we do now?" Tukiko asked Nightwolf. Nightwolf gave Tukiko a smirk before he stated, "Now we party like there is no tomorrow." Scene 4. It was late in the evening as all the girls were walking together at a leisurely pace towards home since tonight was the beginning of their weekend break. As they walked home, Naruto noticed there were extra shadows following them. Silently put up her guard, and alerted her friends. Naruto quietly signaled for Hinata to see who was following them, and Hinata responded by activating her Byakugan. She then began giggling like a young girl with a secret she was dying to tell. Therefore, Hinata leaned next to Naruto, who was bewildered by Hinata's antics until Hinata whispered, "We're being followed by Mizuki and two other Chunins I never have seen before." Naruto was worried as she faced Tukiko to state, "I don't see how that is a big secret. The others may want to hear what you have to say." The girls saw Naruto scratch her head with her left hand, while her right hand unclipped her right-handed pistol from her jacket. The girls got the message as they slowly went for their own weapons of choice while they tried not to arouse suspicion. As they prepared for a fight, Tukiko kept the imagined casual atmosphere of giggling girls by stating, "Oh juicy gossip. I never knew you were the type, Hinata." "Oh, when it's something like this, I just can't keep it hidden." Hinata giggled with a serious face. "Perhaps it is best to speak in the alleyway," Naruto suggested while unclipping her left holster, so she had both pistols ready. "We don't want strangers to hear." "Good idea, Naruto," Revan stated while the Roth sisters both pulled special sticks out of their cloaks. Sticks that when chakra was channeled formed into energy blades made out of pure chakra. Their weapons were ready when the girls reached the alleyway. After taking 10 steps in the alleyway, Tenten leaned over to ask, "Ready?" Naruto closed her eyes and waited. When she heard the clatter of footsteps behind her, she opened her cloak and yelled, "Attack!" Naruto turned to face the silver-haired teacher and sent a warning shot past his ear to stop him in his tracks. At the same time, Revan activated a purple blade before she turned to cut off one of the Chunin's arms as her sister used a yellow double blade to cut off the man's leg in a surprised attack sweep. The man soon fell to the ground screaming as Revan and Bastilla held their swords at the man. The second Chunin had enough sense to approach with caution and jumped away before Tukiko and Hinata could strike. The Chunin then deflected the kunais thrown by Tenten as the man stepped into a battle position with the kunai in hand. The Chunin's stance was low as he faced the three girls and made eye contact with them. Tukiko paled as she spoke out, "Uncle?" The other girls glared at a black-haired man with red eyes that had 3 black swirls around the iris. It was the Uchiha's fully evolved bloodline, the Sharingan. Surprised, Naruto yelled out, "What is going on?" "The Uchiha are taking over, brat, and all of you are now the property of the Uchiha." Mizuki smirked. "So you're a traitor?" Revan asked with an angry glare. "The Uchiha are the true power, and I am helping them take their rightful place as rulers of this pathetic village," Mizuki yelled back at the girls as he took a threatening manner. Naruto took aim as she responded to Mizuki's threat, "Take one step, and I put a bullet into your chest. You know I can easily kill you where you stand." Mizuki stopped in his tracks as he had seen Naruto's marksmanship skill in action. So he began a standoff while Tukiko, Hinata, and Tenten with swords ready engaged the standing Uchiha. Together, they were able to keep the man on his toes as Bastilla and Revan stood prepared to assist if they failed. They did not want the younger children in the battle as their weapons could unintentionally cut anything including a friend that may get in the way. As the girls waited, the Chunin grew impatient with the battle and overpowered Tenten by taking her blade out of her hand and kicking her down. He used the sword in wide sweeps to force Tukiko and Hinata back as Tenten skidded on her feet and pulled out a katana. As Hinata and Tukiko backed away as the Uchihas neared, "Why are you betraying the clan?" Tukiko growled back, "I am not loyal to a clan that treats me as a lowly tool. My loyalty belongs to my friends that care for me, and to a village that gives me a future." Hinata and Tenten nodded in acknowledgement as they prepared to fight as the Uchiha continued his rant, "You do not understand, you little bitches. We were meant to be the true rulers of this village from the very beginning. You and your friends should be honored to be allowed to serve this village after we take this village by force." After the Uchiha finished his rant, Tenten asked, "Do you really think a single clan with a few sympathizers can beat a dozen individual clans and several hundred ninjas loyal to the Fire Country and the Hokage?" "Yes, as soon as you hear the cries you will know that it has succeeded," the Uchiha said as he and Mizuki smiled when they heard ear-piercing screams. However, their smiles turned into horror when Uchiha and Mizuki realized the screams were coming from the Uchiha compound. It was then Tukiko presented a thoughtful face, "So, that was what Auntie Mikado and cousin Itachi meant to stay away from the compound tonight. They knew the clan was going to die tonight for their act of treason." The Chunin Uchiha heard this and screamed, "No! We will not be denied our destiny." The Chunin charged at Tukiko with Tenten's sword while yelling out, "Die, traitor!" Tukiko jumped away as Tenten brought her katana up to beat away his attack. They danced as they dueled. Tenten used fast attacks and her superior skill to fight against a stronger and more experienced warrior. She was doing well since the Uchiha had little experience with weapons. However, Skill does not always beat brute strength as she was slammed into the wall by the man's heavy strike. Tenten fell and would have been killed if not for Tukiko and Hinata attacking the Uchiha from behind him. Hinata used rapid chakra slashes with chakra blades as her arms weaved across the man's muscles, striking chakra points along the spinal column. Tukiko assisted as she slashed the man's arms with her knives in a series of rapid motions that forced him to drop his blade. He was disarmed, but they were not done with it all. Uchiha. Adrenaline surged through their bodies from the heat of the battle and fear for their friends made them act. In a frenzy, Hinata struck the man's heart with a gentle blade to cause it to rupture while Tukiko slashed the man's throat with her heated knife that cauterized the wounds as he fell to the ground, dead. As soon as the Uchiha fell, the girls realized they had taken a life and froze. Naruto saw this from the corner of her eye and yelled at her friends to snap out of it. You killed him to save Tenten. We will worry about the fact you two caused the man's death once we are safe. Mizuki saw Naruto distracted and bolted from the scene. Naruto responded by pulling the trigger, hitting Mizuki in the shoulder just as he ran out of the alleyway. Naruto then gave chase with Pastilla and Revan in close pursuit while Tenten tried to comfort Hinata and Tukiko, who was still shaken from their first kill. As Mizuki ran, he heard screaming up ahead and saw one of the advanced Uchiha units run toward him carrying a little green-haired girl in his arms. As he approached, Mizuki saw a blonde-haired Nature Clan member summon lightning and hit the Uchiha with enough force to make the Uchiha drop the girl. Mizuki couldn't believe it as he saw one of his students, Nightwolf, summon wind to his leg and drop-kick the Uchiha into a wall. The man crumbled down, blissfully asleep as Naruto, Pastilla, and Revan arrived on the scene. Mizuki found himself trapped between the Nature Clan and the three girls. He looked for an option when he noticed the green-haired girl lying on the ground staring at Naruto with eyes of admiration as she called out, "Big Fox sis." Naruto saw the girl and screamed, "Fox Spirit! Run!" Mizuki beat them to the punch as he grabbed Fox Spirit before she had a chance to react and held a kunai to her throat. "No one moves, or she dies." The group complied and backed off while Naruto steadily stared into Fox Spirit's eyes and then Mizuki's eyes filled with anger. With her mind focused on her opponent, she realized he was not going to let her go unless it was in a body bag. She knew only one way to save Fox Spirit's life, but she was hesitant as she could accidentally kill Fox Spirit by mistake. She was too afraid to act until she heard Colonel 9 speak to her within her head, "Take the shot. If you don't, she'll die anyway by the man's hand. You can still save her. So don't be afraid to do what is required." Naruto sighed before she asked Fox Spirit, "Do you trust me, little one?" "Of course, Big Fox sis," Fox Spirit answered without an ounce of fear. "Okay," Naruto stated before she pulled up her pistol and shot Mizuki between the eyes. Mizuki fell down as Fox Spirit wiggled out of Mizuki's slacking grip and hugged Naruto. "I knew you would save me." "Yeah, I did," Naruto smiled as she hugged Fox Spirit back. Just as Tenten, Hinata, and Tukiko ran up to the group, still pale from their ordeal. "What's going on here?" asked a voice startling all parties as they looked up to see that it was the animal-masked Anbu, led by a woman with a cat mask and long purple hair. The group explained that the Uchiha had ambushed them and they had barely beaten them off before the Anbu arrived. The Anbu nodded before she stated, "Thanks for your assistance. It will make our job easier." The leader turned to bark out orders to her fellow Anbu, "Kill the traitors, and dump their bodies in the Uchiha compound. Leave no evidence that they were here." The other Anbu nodded, and quickly performed the command of killing the wounded and retrieving the bodies of the traitors when Naruto screamed, "What are you guys doing?" "We are executing all traitors outside of the Uchiha clan house," the purple-haired, cat-masked Anbu replied, "but they were disabled, why not take them as prisoners?" Naruto stammered. "They are too dangerous to keep alive," the cat Anbu replied much to Naruto's shock while another Anbu with a boar mask appeared. "Captain Yuga Uzuki, all resistance outside the compound has been dealt with. We were able to kill most of them before they reached their targets. Itachi Uchiha has completed his mission of executing all of the Uchiha members except Sasuke, a few non-traitorous Uchiha, and the very young children." Bora then turned at Tukiko to state, "Mikado Uchiha has asked us to keep Tukiko away while the grounds are being cleaned of traitors' remains." Tukiko was horrified that her clan members were being killed, but also relieved that it was her tormentors and not her family that had been killed. Yugao looked at the group of students and took them to the Hokage Tower to be protected. Scene V. It was dark outside as Naruto stared at the stars while Tukiko and Hinata fell asleep in her room while she lay on the grass. As they quietly dreamed, Naruto went over what she had learned. The Uchiha clan planned a coup d'etat and the Hokage found out through spies in the clan, who turned out to be Itachi, Mikado's oldest son. After several failed negotiations, Sarutobi realized he had no choice but to ask one of his most loyal ninjas to execute all the traitors within the clan and take the blame for it. The village could not afford to look weak because of a civil war within their ranks, so Itachi volunteered to commit the crime, even if it meant he would be turned into a missing nin. The Uchiha had gained sympathy from various ninja and civilian families, primarily by bribing them to support the Uchiha clan. It was a small force, and the Uchiha would never actually win, but they could devastating enough civil war that would ultimately weaken the Leaf forces, so they did a preemptive strike to kill the conspirators and left some of the clan to prosper on the village's terms. Most of the clan was part of the conspiracy, so out of the 120 clan members, only 30 were spared. Sasuke and 2 babies were the only males left in the entire clan. The group split up and returned home after they promised never to discuss the events of the day. Tukiko returned with Naruto and Hinata as they were cleaning up her home. Once they were at Naruto's new home, the 2 Jonin counseled and comforted them until Tukiko and Hinata fell asleep. However, counseling did not help Naruto as hundreds of thoughts were pouring through her head. Couldn't there be another way? Did I have to kill someone to save a girl's life? Can I trust a village that could order your death without conscience? Naruto heard Nine speak in her head. Naruto, come to me. You need to hear this. Naruto complied and merged into the recesses of her mind to face the beautiful colonel, surrounded by followers instead of trees. You know Naru-chan, Konoha is like flowers in the meadow, beautiful, strong, and loyal. However, sometimes a flower gets sick with a disease that can infect others, an infection known as betrayal, and it becomes necessary to get rid of the disease, even at the sacrifice of a few pure flowers. Do you see what I am saying? Most of the Uchiha and ninjas like Mizuki had a disease of treason, and as Hokage, the withered blue rose had to do what was right to destroy the infection. Colonel 9 of 9 stopped and looked directly into Naruto's eyes before continuing. Be glad your first kill was against a traitor, because as a ninja, you will kill a lot of people and some will be innocent. You did well, and you will be fine as long as you do not allow it to control you. It is time to prove that you can hold on to your humanity while many others have lost theirs. Naruto cried and ran into Nine's embrace. 9 of 9 comforted Naruto until Naruto was brought back to reality, with Anko standing over her. Are you alright, brat? Anko asked. I am now, thanks to Mom, Naruto explained. Today's events were hard to swallow. I like to say it will get easier over time, but it won't, Anko explained. If anything, it may get worse. But never forget your friends, as I can say that in the end, all that matters are your friends. Your friends can save you from hell. How exactly will it get harder? Naruto asked. Well, Kurenai will have all week to explain that to you, Anko said while bowing down. But for now, it is time to go to sleep. Okay. Naruto muttered before falling asleep on the grass. Anko chuckled while she slowly picked up the girl. She made her way home but stopped after she saw the Kurenai in the shadows. Anko remarked before continuing back home, looks like you have something to discuss with the girls this week while there is no school. Yes, Kurenai stated sadly. I just hope it doesn't make them regret joining the academy. Scene Vi. It had been a week since the Uchiha massacre, and the girls were walking to school, pondering their feelings about Kunoichi. They knew the truth about what had really happened while everyone who did not know any better talked about the tragedy of the clan's death and how horrible it was. The girls were disgusted as people spoke about the Uchiha as though they were martyrs instead of traitors. It was even worse in the academy as girls swooned over the last male Uchiha, aka Sasuke. The fangirls tried to comfort him and his aching heart. Moreover, their constant badgering finally caused Sasuke's to snap when he growled out, "Shut up, I have no interest in a weak thing like you. I need to get stronger to avenge my clan. So don't get near me for you are useless. All of you, stay away unless you demonstrate that you are worthy of the Uchiha." Despite his growl, many girls still swooned over the last Uchiha thinking he was just sad due to the loss of his family. Therefore, they keep trying despite him maintaining silence for the rest of that day, and all they got out of it was to make Naruto and her friends sick to think such girls existing. The mere thought of these swooning girls giving everything up for a guy that did not like them made Naruto and her friends determined to become strong kunoikis. They planned to beat the odds through hard work to live a long life. Their choices potentially would save their own lives in the events that are soon to come. Scene 7. In a distant land, the Uzumaki Council listened to the report of the Uchiha clan demise. After they had how the Uchiha were assassinated by the Leaf forces, one of the council members spoke up, Yokoshima-sama, while it is interesting to hear that the lower-class scum has perished, we may have our own troubles to address. The councilman coughed nervously. He was afraid of the old, cold blue-eyed woman and that she would make the floor turn as blood-red as her hair. Yet he continued to speak as Yokoshima waved him on. We are losing more funds than we are making from the fighting in the southern wastelands while keeping our presence in the elemental nations. I am wondering, the man asked, Are we going to try holding both regions even at the cost of being in debt with another country, or lessen our presence in the elemental or southern regions? There was standing silence as Yokoshima gave a predatory grin. I am glad you asked me that very question. She straightened up as she continued to speak. I'll plan to move most of our interests down south and continue working at the facility. I also plan to keep a few of our major operations in the elemental nations. That way we will be able to increase our funds for important projects while we don't have to worry about useless projects, like keeping a weak water country in constant civil war. Ma'am, you can't be serious? One of the council members yelled. You can't suggest abandoning our influence in the elemental nations to continue to fund the project in this waste. The man never finished as Yokoshima pulled out a kunai and threw it right next to the man's forehead. The man gulped as Yokoshima growled out. That facility is our only chance of returning the Uzumaki into the dynasty that was once spread from the east and west coast. So this is what it's going to be, and you have a problem with that? You can walk out, and I won't kill you for weakness since my kind-hearted husband before I took up the mantle of Ozukage from him. She then relaxed in a smile before she continued, we may weaken ourselves now, but I promise you that in the end, we will be in a far better position than this clan has ever been with the power to rule the world with an iron fist. This I swear. The council nodded as they left while the body of the dead council member was taken away as a woman who had passively watched the whole scene from the back of the room. The woman was Kushina, and she was struck by the casualness of the entire incident. She was worried about her daughter and her true home village, Konoha. Kushina knew that this was defiantly going in her report. Chapter 5 Sinai. It has been 6 years since the Uchiha massacre, and Fire Country has changed to be one of the most technologically advanced and industrialized countries in the known world, with Konoha leading the change. Technology has become available to the general public, such as cell phones, or even simple computers were available to everyone. Fire Country made a fortune selling some of their non-military technology, which increased the funding of Konoha. Wind Country mainly bought and stocked moisture evaporators to help collect water within their desert environment for a cheaper and consistent water supply. In the outskirts of the village, part of a training field was closed off by the scientists who worked at the Great Library. That part of the field was covered in parts of the next project, rebuilding a stealth fighter for the Leaf Special Forces. Leading the team was the yellow-eyed civilian in his fantasy Eastern suit, Dr. Lost. Dr. Lost smiled as he gave a speech to the many R&D personnel there working on the project. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the next step in ensuring the prosperity of Fire Country. A step that is more important than the sniper rifles and machine guns our Anbu have used to take down targets from far away. More important than the Scorpion hover tank that guards our convoys, or the trucks and cars to get our soldiers, samurai, and ninjas to their destination faster. It is more important than the body armor that helped drop casualties in Anbu ranks by 40%. It is even potentially more important than all the medical, computer and communication technology we have made. For we are working on a piece of technology so advanced that will allow us to rule the skies. As a general from the old times once said, he who rules the sky controls the world, so I present to you the next project, the Phantom Class Attack Fighter. Dr. Lost exclaimed, and he was met with polite applause while 3 teenagers and 1 girl were waiting for another teenager to finish their work. He certainly likes to hear himself talk, Naru-chan, spoke a fiery 14-year-old girl that had black hair and eyes. She smirked as she stretched her tall, yet a petite body that was snuggling in her black shorts and a black t-shirt with blue trims. The girl also had on her the words the Neo Uchiha, under the Uchiha symbol. Well, Tukiko, you know Dr. Lost always liked to hear himself. Plus he needs the practice to sell these weapons to the more thick-headed members of the council, spoke an average-height girl named Naruto Ryu as she worked at Fighter's cockpit. A girl that wore black and orange clothing similar to what she had worn for 8 years. Except, her attire was now designed to accommodate her growth, spirit and her more feminine aspects that were above average, but not overly so. Handing Naruto her tools and giggling to her longtime friend was Hinata. A girl that now had long hair that reached her back and with the most prominent bust of the girls. Her outfit was a lavender cloak and a tight lavender hoodie that hugged her body. Hinata smiled at Naruto's enthusiasm, while a small girl beside Hinata did not get the significance of the projects. Why is this fighter so important? The girl asked. Naruto stopped working as Tenten, a girl with an athletic build of muscles in a pink battle dress, sighed as she mumbled, you know Hanabi, as Hinata's sister, you should know Naruto goes into a rant when you talk down about a project she is working on. Tenten closely evaluated Hinata's sister and wondered how the two could be related. Hanabi was smaller than Hinata was at 10, and she had long black hair and white eyes instead of her sister's blue, raven hair with lavender eyes. She was also Hinata's opposite, as her personality was bold, cold, and followed authority unwaveringly, authority like her father. She also took to the gentle fist like a fish to water and was a very traditional Hyuga. If it was not for their bloodline, no one could tell they were related, especially since Hanabi was favored over Hinata before. However, being Hinata's sister would not prevent Naruto from making Hanabi the object of the mother of all rants. As Naruto got up to stare Hanabi down with her eyes that had 5 different color triangles with only red, fire, and yellow, lightning, faded. They were the only 2 elements she had left to master, and she was well on her way to mastering them thanks to a certain jutsu she picked up called Shadow Clone Jutsu. This fighter, Naruto declared in a calm menacing voice, this phantom class attack fighter is very important for it was the best fighter of the period. It can achieve 2,383 meters per second in the air and 3,403 meters per second in outer space. It has energy shields and is equipped with enough firepower to destroy a frigate. Not to mention it was designed with an EMP camouflage shield to block all matter of detection, including sound, infrared and all forms of radar, assuming it stays below 341 meters per second while its weapons and shields are offline. So yes, it is a huge deal. Inside her mind, Colonel 9 of 9 had yelled, "Damn right it is." Colonel 9 of 9 had loved that fighter class, having flown in it in her human form before she was sealed. Hanabi gulped as Hinata decided to change the subject before Naruto tore Hanabi a new one. "So, we're going to get one, once you help the group figure out how to make them and mass-produce them?" Naruto turned to Hinata to give a smile that screamed yes, yep, we will be one of 10 people who get their hands on them, and it will be the prototype. I cannot wait to take this on a test spin. It's going to be fun. "Well, what are you going to name it?" Tukiko asked. "I was thinking Enterprise," Naruto answered, and the girls cringed. Hinata snapped out at first to speak up for the group. "Naru-chan, I think it would be better if you name it after something other than several series that you are obsessed with." Tukiko finished Hinata's comment. "I am not obsessed," Naruto started, but Tenten interrupted her. "Yes, you are Naru as you are obsessed with nearly every sci-fi, action, comedy and drama series/movie. You spend half the time you don't sleep watching them." "Well, they do have good ideas, and it was said, what is fiction today can be reality tomorrow," Naruto quickly quoted. "Naruto, can you just give it another name?" Hinata pleaded with Tukiko and Tenten. "I hate you," Naruto grumbled before she thought it over as the girls glared at her. "Okay, I see your point, how about Shadow Fox?" "That is most agreeable," Tukiko agreed with everyone, including an excited Colonel 9 of 9 in Naruto's head. "So how long will it take me before it is done?" Tenten asked. "A month or 2, Naruto answered. "Enough time for us to receive our first C-rank mission." "What? I thought you guys got your first mission after you become Genin?" Hanabi asked while Tukiko and Hinata wondered the same thing too. "You guys don't know?" Tenten asked laughing hysterically. "Oh, you'll only be doing D-rank missions for the first 1 to 3 months before you guys can do C-rank missions. Unless, somehow your entire team becomes Chunin, regardless of what clan you are from. Oh, by the way, D-rank missions usually consist of chores that civilians are too lazy to do and have the money to pay someone else to do for them. You probably will have to capture an evil creature called Tora, the daimyo wife's pet cat at least 3 times, so happy hunting." Tenten laughed as she left a shell-shocked Hinata, Tukiko, and Hanabi behind. "Alright guys, let's go. After today, our moment in the 7th hell is about to be over and our Genin year is about to begin," Naruto commented. "What are we doing today?" Tukiko asked. "Well, yesterday it was genjutsu, trap making, stealth, and the obstacle course. So, today is a written test, throwing weapons that can be substituted with range weapons, ninjutsu, and close-quarter combat," Naruto explained before checking out with Dr. Lost. "Well, I better get going too. Father Salma wants me to do some extra lessons before I start at the academy this summer," Hanabi stated as she moved away from the group. Naruto came back after making a dozen shadow clones to train her in elements and various other things. Naruto loved the fact that when they dispelled, she had learned everything they read or mentally taught in. It helped her master the elements while spending time on various schoolwork, physical training, and projects with the R&D. "Come on, let's go," Naruto ordered as they left for the academy. As they walked, the group could not help but admire how much Konoha has changed over the years. All the main roads were paved and filled with bikes or cars. Fire Country's military forces mostly used cars, but some civilians and politicians also had them. As they continued to walk, they noticed how the village had become quite industrialized, as factories were everywhere. The new technology helped shape the Leaf into a more dominant force based on the clients that flocked to them along with the espionage and sabotage missions they conducted for Fire Country. Such changes, however, were met with opposition, Like the protesters that claimed the new technology was destroying their society and the delicate balance that had existed between ninjas, samurais, and soldiers. Within the village, the protesters' power base came mostly from wealthy civilians/nobles, along with a few visiting samurais that wanted the power structure to stay status quo. Very few ninjas supported the protesters, as ninjas had learned early on that if you do not adapt, you die. The girls did not pay them much mind except when one protester standing on a wooden chair yelled out, "May Kami, God, strike down all that goes against the natural order." As he yelled, the chair broke, and the man landed on his butt in complete humiliation. Naruto could not help but chuckled, "Well, looks like Kami has spoken." The girls chuckled while 9 of 9 sighed in Naruto's head. Why do idiots forget the two most basic laws of nature? He who does not adapt dies and stupidity works its way to bring about extinction. Naruto shrugged as the girls walked into the academy. The girls planned to show off so they can get on the best teams and hopefully, each other's team. Scene 2. It had been 2 hours since Naruto had arrived at the academy, and the group had been outside for over an hour. The test had been quick but tiring as the girls waited for the next test that would begin once all the students finished the first test. The students were joined outside by the scared-nosed teacher Iruka and his new fluffy, black-haired assistant named Suzume. After Mizuki's death, Iruka had become harsher to overcome the fact that Mizuki had been a traitor. He had zero tolerance for bullies or weak ninjas that would not accept his help to become stronger. Suzume called off so that everyone was to throw weapons, only hesitating briefly to adjust her big glasses as she reached Hinata, Naruto and Tukiko's names. She had put them at the end of the list on purpose for their unique weapons were new to her and made her nervous. Hinata was first of the three, using a pistol and kunais. Next was Tukiko's turn with an assault rifle and throwing knives. Tukiko won by a few points over Hinata and lead with a perfect score. Suzume called the next name with dread, Naruto Ryu. Naruto came up smiling for she could use just firearms for this test. Her throwing skills were terrible to the point that she often would get only a 50% score, but she made up with her lack of proficiency with knives by her skill in firearms. She drew her 2 pistols and began to put several standard rounds into the dummies, perfect kill shots. She reloaded with 3 distinctive bullets and again shot at the dummy targets at a rapid pace. First off was a wind bullet that tore through the target like a knife through butter, while the second was frozen solid by an ice bullet. The final round was Naruto's water bullet that made the dummy implode with a torrent of water. "I hope you liked my wind, ice, and water bullets," Naruto explained, while keeping some of her other bullets, like her lightning, bone-shattering bullet, and paralyzing bullets to herself. "Good job Naruto, you will get full points for your showmanship, but you will lose points for not using any throwing projectiles at your targets. You are at a 4th place with a 90%, Iruka explained while Suzume wrote down a score. Naruto nodded in acceptance, and she moved back to the group while the Hokage and several Jonin, in the office of Hokage Tower, whistled at the live feed of the Jonin's test. "I want some of those bullets," Anko screamed while clutching her newest weapon, a shotgun. "So Pop, these special bullets are what you have the Anbu, and Hunter Nin use?" A man that looked a lot like the Hokage asked while stroking his black beard, that was also cut short like the Hokage's white beard. "Yes Asuma, Naruto, however, is the only one to use the elemental bullets, and her friends are the only Jonin equipped with firearms," the Hokage answered his son, Asuma, who looks like a younger version of himself. She was able to get her hands on them through her work with the R&D. It only fits we allow her to use them since she helped in their development. "When do you plan to distribute these firearms to the Jonin? I can see a use for them, even though for several it would interfere with their techniques we use," a dark-skinned man from the Pyro clan asked while combing his fiery reddish-blue hair. "Well Inferno, we have been passing out these guns within the last 3 years to our Jonin and Chunin," the Hokage answered Inferno. "So, hopefully in 1 to 2 years, our Jonin teams will have them available as they become cheaper to manufacture." "That's good to know, but let us go back to the test. The jutsus portion is about to begin," Kurenai pointed out. In the background, Anko screamed, "Bring on the explosions." In the test room was a student showing off the 3 academy basics of, the substitution jutsu, clone jutsu and transformation jutsu, and an added jutsu from the library, or 2 clan jutsus that would ensure a higher survivor rate. Very few kids failed as the academy staff took great pains to assure that the students studied a jutsu properly. Sasuke, Tukiko's cousin, with his black hair tied to look like the back end of a chicken, tried to show off with fire style, fireball jutsu and fire style, phoenix flower jutsu. An excellent show, but Tukiko outshone Sasuke with her fire style, phoenix flower jutsu and Tukiko's new fire style, firebomb jutsu, a jutsu that could be set on the ground to blow up 10 seconds later. Hinata also showed her water style, Tsunami Jutsu, and protective 8 trigrams 64 palms. She created chakra blades that would strike anyone close and defend herself as well. Finally, it was Naruto's turn, and she wanted to show off to prove why she was one of the top ninjas in class. After Naruto did transformation jutsu and substitution jutsu, Naruto asked, "I can't do clone jutsu to my chakra level, so can I do a new clone jutsu?" Sure Naru," Iruka answered, being curious about what the new clone jutsu was. Naruto then called out, "Wind style, wind clone jutsu, to produce 3 clones made out of the wind. The wind clone is one I made up. This jutsu is one of 10 clone techniques that I have in my arsenal. It is perfect in combat because of its increased speed, its ability to cut targets at close range, and when you kill the clone, it explodes in a gale windstorm." "Wow, good job Naruto. Now I need you to produce one non-original technique," Iruka commented. "How about 2, Naruto replied and powered up Earth style, Earth Dragon Bullet Jutsu and Wind style, Great Breakthrough Jutsu. "Good job, you passed and tied at first place with Tukiko Uchiha and Hinata Hyuga," Iruka congratulated Naruto as she walked to class. "Wow, amazing. Wait. Did she say 10 clone jutsus?" Inferno asked Sarutobi in his office. "Yep, some she learned from a retrieved scroll or from others like a wood clone from Yamato and the new fire clone from Tukiko. She also created one for ice and lightning. We decided to put such clones into the forbidden scroll for any Jonin to see," Sarutobi informed the excited Jonin who planned to sign out to look through the scroll to use. The next set was close quarter combat, where any type of combat was accepted. In other words, only martial arts and blades are allowed, no chakra enhancement. They divided them up based on gender. Within 2 hours, most of the class was done. Some of the fights were good, mainly from those with shinobi or clan background. Others were not so good, like the fangirls that continue to plague the academy. As the fights dwindled down, all that remained was the fight between the top 2 close quarter combat experts, Hinata Hyuga with her gentle blade technique, and Tukiko Uchiha with her knives. The 2 girls faced each other as Tukiko pulled out 2 knives and Hinata channeled chakra into her hands. Suzume did one last inspection, before reminding Tukiko and Hinata not to target any vital organs unless they wanted to be disqualified. She started the match, and the 2 girls rushed each other. Hinata was the first to lash out with a wild swipe, and Tukiko responded with her knives and aimed at Hinata's arm. Hinata pulled back while Tukiko went to strike. Tukiko jumped back to avoid Hinata while striking at her legs. The battle turned into dance as they weaved and whirled at each other, barely dodging their opponent's attack while slowly wearing each other out. After 10 minutes of constant fighting, the 2 were painting, and they began sweating heavily after they were able to hit each other once before they stopped to face each other. Hinata was able to hit Tukiko's right arm, and Tukiko cut Hinata's right, rendering both useless due to the rules of the match. The 2 circled each other, prepared to use other limbs in the attack, not giving up due to their pride and needs to be outweighed their senses. Hinata needed to be strong to change her clan while proving to herself that she was never a burden to her friends like Naruto. Tukiko had similar reasons, but her goal was to drive the Uchiha into a new direction, not one stuck in archaic traditions. Both had a personal stake as they fought for top kunoichi in the academy. Therefore, they used the break to regain their breath and calm themselves to clear their minds before they continue their fight. Eventually, Tukiko felt she rested enough, as she was the first to move as she rushed Hinata. Hinata moved to the side and gave a small arm slash at Tukiko. Tukiko fell to her knees and bent over backward to avoid Hinata's strike while bringing her knife up. Hinata, in response, pulled her arm back with a sharp jerk while forgetting to shift her weight. This act had caused her to lose balance, and she did a little 90-degree spin into Tukiko's head. Somehow, beyond luck, the sound of their heads cracked as their craniums came together at high speeds. The 2 lost conscious in a few seconds and remained tangled with Tukiko on the bottom and Hinata on top, cheek to cheek. Suzume was shocked at the outcome and did not call the match until there were a few catcalls by the boys, seeing the 2 hottest girls in such a compromising placement. After the match was called, she went to check on the girls with a bit of smelling salts, as Naruto hovered over her friends. Hinata was the first to wake, and the first thing she asked her friend was, "Did I win?" Suzume shook her head while she helped Tukiko up. "No, it was a tie, though you get full marks for your match, so you 2 should be proud." Tukiko heard her match was a tie and pouted, "Yeah, proud. But it would be nice to hear that the best girl won." Hinata was about to make a quiet remark when Naruto stopped the 2's verbal match. "Come on girls, let's get up." Naruto rose up and then helped up Hinata followed by Tukiko. "Besides, you can argue after my match, it is my turn to fight, right?" Naruto asked as Suzume nodded her head in acknowledgement. The female teacher looked over her board to state, "That's correct, but I don't know what to do since you are the only female student left. I guess you will fight me and we will decide from there." Naruto nodded and pulled out her two swords while Tukiko and Hinata walked out of the arena. She was preparing to fight when Iruka called them out. "Wait, Iruka-san, what's the matter?" Suzume asked. "I just got a request from a student to fight Naruto," Iruka explained. "I would normally ignore this, but some members of the council will throw a fit if I don't approve the request, and the Hokage agreed to allow this as long as Naruto give her consent. I have the paperwork right here." Iruka held up a paper for a request of one Naruto Ryu to fight with one Sasuke Uchiha, a boy Naruto had developed a deep dislike for. Sasuke has been obsessed with power after his brother killed most of his clan to claim revenge for what happened 6 years ago. His desire often got him into fights in class to be the alpha of the class after he constantly belittled her friends, and he had never given up on trying to woo Naruto, under the orders of his dead, traitorous father. His constant wooing had superbly failed, as Naruto did not want to be treated as if her sole purpose was to give birth to a new strong clan while her partner went off to kill his brother. She, built by such dependable friends, desired an equal who could be a friend and lover at the same time, and Sasuke did not fit the bill. That is why Naruto walked into the arena with her swords drawn. She was going to give him the ultimate no, by carving it into his skin as one sword faced Sasuke, and the other guarded her chest. Sasuke had not realized the danger he was in as his arrogance outweighed his common sense. He thought it would be an easy win since he was an Uchiha, that was trained by his clan and the trainers he hired from the village using his family fortune. That was until the two faced off, as Sasuke's superior smirk wavered as he stared into Naruto's defiant, elemental star eyes. However, it did not stop him from trying to taunt the girl. "So, you think you can win?" Sasuke leered at the girl. "Maybe, we shall see," Naruto replied in a dull tone. "A beauty such as you shouldn't fight," Sasuke declared in a smooth style that made several fangirls cry out in outrage. Naruto did not bat an eye at Sasuke's words. "Flattery will get you nowhere, for I have no interest in you." Naruto's remark broke Sasuke's control as he began to growl. "Why do you deny fate? Why do you deny the needs of someone who can be the best partner you ever had within the prestigious Uchiha clan?" Naruto looked confused before she asked, "I thought I was fighting you, not Tukiko? I mean, she has activated her bloodline and almost mastered it while yours is still dormant. She is a master of fire jutsus while you're an intermediate at best. She is one of the best in martial arts. And more importantly, I trust her and Hinata to watch back more than a self-serving jerk out for revenge." Every word Naruto spoke only increased Sasuke's anger. Sasuke was outraged to point steam would be shooting out of his ears if he was a boiler as he rushed Naruto. Once Sasuke was close enough, Naruto attacked with spinning blades of her swords, transformed into training blades by the foam wrapped around them. As Naruto tried to strike the boy down, Sasuke avoided the strike within the last second as he regained enough of senses jump to away before being hit by Naruto's two swords. He barely avoided the foam soaked with special chakra paint that would only be noticeable if transferred by a hit of sufficient force. Enough paint transfer could be counted as a lethal strike, or if many slight marks showed, they could score as if the cuts were sufficient to cause him to bleed to death. Therefore, Sasuke weaved in and out to avoid Naruto's furious attack, as trying to avoid a loss due to a lucky shot. Not that Naruto was trying to hit him, she was trying to keep him at bay. Naruto knew Sasuke had greater speed and strength than she did. She had really regretted not training as physically hard as she does mentally or with her justice. However, she did have superior endurance and agility that she counted on to win this match. Naruto used her long blade's furious attack to keep Sasuke at bay while she slowly exhausted him, and it was working. In fact, Sasuke was making it easier for Naruto as he tested the waters to find a weakness, as he used a kunais to deflect Naruto's strikes before he jumped and jabbed again. His attacks were making him exert more energy, and it was not getting him anywhere. As the fight continued, it was evident that Sasuke was getting sloppy as his anger increased. He was so enraged that he had not beaten Naruto or even found a weak spot while she remained calm and focused. In a fit of anger, he charged at Naruto and went to strike her with his knives. Sasuke's move got him around Naruto's defenses but left his sides open to attack. Naruto brought both her blades down and hit Sasuke's ribs. Sasuke screamed as he dropped to the ground, holding his ribs before Naruto punched him in the nose. Sasuke was down for the count, and not a moment too soon. Naruto knew that if Sasuke had not lowered his defenses to the attack, as he could have deflected her strike and went in for the kill. Instead, Iruka declared the girl, who was slowly breathing in and out to regain the control of her adrenaline-filled heart, that she was the winner and aced her final test. The group was dismissed, and everyone left behind the two Chunin and Sasuke. Iruka and Susume carried Sasuke to the school nurse before they reported to the Hokage the overall results and helped put together the team. Back at the Hokage Tower, they waited for the Chunin to bring their report and explain their results. Once the two teachers were seated, one of the Jonin commented, "The students seemed unusually skilled this year." "They are, thanks to the new training program you initiated, Hokage-sama," Iruka stated. "While I didn't expect it to affect the percentages that would overall graduate, I do expect it to increase graduation by 10% next year." "That's good, for the last batch had 3 teams killed and only one of the surviving teams showed any promise," Anko explained while her friend, Kurenai, nodded with sorrow that 12 Jonin were killed. "Too true," the Hokage stated while looking at Asuma. "It's time we move on and start putting together the teams. Son, why don't you start off?" "All right." Asuma took a puff of smoke before he continued, "I want the Inochoshi team. I believe with the few things I picked up watching them today, I can add some variety to their tactics, and fighting styles to go with their clan techniques." "Sounds good." Ino Yamanaka, Choji Akimichi, and Shikamaru Nara will make up Team 10, the Hokage nodded as he wrote down Asuma's team. Inferno then stepped up, "I would like Revan Roth, Bastilla Roth, and Nightwolf son of Wolf Dreamer for my team. They will be the easiest group for me to teach and my clan has a good relationship with our recent alliance formed with the Nature and Roth clans." "All right, your team will make up Team 6, Sarutobi stated as he wrote Inferno's team down. "Well, I don't care who I get," Kakashi explained. "However, since I am forced to teach this year, despite my protest and the fact I can't teach Shannon, I request that Naruto, Tukiko, or Hinata not be placed on my team." Kakashi's statement shocked everyone. "Why? I mean, you taught them for 8 years, so why are you giving them up?" Kurenai asked before Kakashi gave her an answer. "I wouldn't call leaving books and scrolls for them to look at on their own teaching. I also have to take Sasuke Uchiha for being the only one on the roster to which I could teach the Sharingan. If any of the girls were put on a team with Sasuke, the girls would probably end up killing Sasuke. Not to mention those 3 are a too well-oiled machine to break up. I recommend that we should keep them together." Many Jonin began to argue, as there had never been an all-3 female Jonin team. There had been all-male teams before, but never an all-female one. However, it seemed that the Hokage though it was not a bad idea. "Okay, I see your point, and I believe it is for the best." Sarutobi pulled out a bunch of files before stating, "All right, Team 7 will be Sakura Haruno, Sasuke Uchiha, and a homeschooled student named Sai from Danzo. Be careful, the team will be the most delicate of teams. Don't be afraid to ask for help on this one." Kakashi nodded as he groaned. "All right, now we have 2 teams that are likely to pass. One team will have Naruto Ryu, Hinata Hyuga, and Tukiko Uchiha, while the other has Ami Rika, Shino Aburame, and Kiba Inuzuka. So who will lead these reaming teams?" Sarutobi had asked, which immediately brought on an argument on who would have who. None of them could decide on their own, and eventually, the argument got so loud that the Hokage had enough. "Since you cannot decide, I will make the teams. The team's Jonin will be." Scene 3. It was early Saturday morning as the girls left for academy, still sleepy because they had been up late partying with friends. Today was a big day as they headed to an empty academy so they could get their assigned a Jonin sensei that would hopefully be the last for the rest of their ninja career. The 3 left behind their old training field filled with standard students taught by the stoic, scary brown-haired man, Yamato, and surprisingly, 3 new faces showed up to train the kids. While curious as to why Kurenai, Encore Kakashi was not there, they decided to ignore the missing teachers as they went into the auditorium, figuring they would be able to ask later. It was not long before the room filled with graduates as Iruka walked alone up to the front of them while he held a paper that had the list of teams. "Alright brats, listen up as I call out your teams," Iruka yelled as he began calling out the teams. The first 5 were made up of students the girls really did not know. Once Iruka reached Team 6, Naruto began to pay attention as he started calling out people she was very familiar with. She heard Team 6 had Revan, Bastilla and Nightwolf, and Team 7 had Sasuke, Sakura, and some new kids she never met. And honestly, she really did not care who it was since she was relieved that she no longer had to deal with Sasuke. Next was Team 8, with Shino the loner, Emi the bully, and Kiba the hot-headed dog boy. Iruka then explained Team 10 would be the new Inochoshi team as Team 9 and 11 were still in circulation. He then announced Team 12 before telling the class the team she was interested in hearing, her own team. And finally, Team 13 will be Naruto Ryu, Hinata Hyuga, and Tukiko Uchiha, Iruka stated, and the 3 girls smiled brightly at their teacher before he continued. Your sensei Sar. Iruka never finished as the side window was shattered by someone that appeared in front him before a banner folded behind the woman with the words, "All bow to the sexy and single kunoichi, the beautiful Anko Mitarashi." The girls could not believe it. Anko was their sensei. However, they were also not prepared for what came next. "Anko, you are early," Kurenai stated as she appeared like a mirage. Iruka was about to announce that we were the girls' senseis when you interrupted him. Anko blinked in shock before turning to the side of her banner to see an angry Iruka. Anko put up a sorry damsel look as she said to the Chunin, "Sorry Iruka-kun." Whatever rant he had prepared died as Anko gave him her distressed damsel look. "It's so okay, Anko. It is okay." Anko smiled as she gave him a small peck before she turned to the class with a sadistic grin appearing on her face. Many people thought the words seductress and scary woman. However, Sasuke ignored this and the fact that an all-girl team has just received 2 senseis and felt it was unfair. However, he kept quiet, knowing that there would be no point to argue with the Chunins in the academy. They were small fry to the Uchiha, and he planned to take it up with the council. It was too bad he did not realize the ones that usually listened to him did not have the power within the Leaf Forces. Anko was sending dangerous vibes as she yelled, "Okay brats, meet me at training field 44 for the final test to become Jinan. I expect you to pass." Anko then disappeared in a swirl of leaves while Kurenai, with an annoyed expression on her face, just vanished as if she was an illusion. The 3 girls took their cue from the senseis and left in a swirl of water for Hinata, fire for Tukiko, and a gust of wind for Naruto. Leaving an angry Iruka who had to deal with kids complaining about a final test. They continued to protest when Iruka yelled, "Shut up!" using an illusion that enlarged his head 5 times to get his point across and scare them. Once their protests died down, Iruka gave one final speech. "Alright brats, first I need to tell you. Your life is now set to one of a long and treacherous road, but I want you to take that the road for it leads to success, and even though you currently may be at the bottom of the food chain, if you work hard, you will succeed." The class was silent by Iruka's speech as a new grin appeared. "The second thing I need to tell you is that for your senseis we'll meet after lunch. So wait while I am going to celebrate the fact I don't have to deal with you anymore, for I am free of the most troublesome class in anyone's career. Thank you very much." All the students could do was gasp as Iruka threw up his papers and left the lecture hall while yelling, "Finally! Freedom!" Later, Iruka could be seen crying about having to teach another troublesome class, but that is a story for another time. Scene 4. In a fenced area that had keep out signs all around, was an area of dense foliage in the Konoha. A place where trees grew to be stories high and where could be found all forms of animals that grew to be just as big, if not bigger than people. It was the dreaded Forest of Death, Anko's favorite training field. Her favorite was mainly the fact her training involved killing off the larger versions of extremely dangerous predators found within this place. It was also a proving ground for Naruto and her friends. "Alright brats, listen up," Anko yelled. "I know you 3 brats work well together, so we won't test you on teamwork." The girls were excited, thinking they were going to skip the test, but their hopes were dashed. "However, I am still required to give you a test, so I decided to assess your combat readiness. You 3 will have to survive a hostile environment for 30 minutes against not only the predators that live in the forest but also me, as I will attack you 3 with everything I can muster. Kurenai will also be participating by observing your fighting prowess and will add her own genjutsu against you to make the fight interesting." The girls were scared as Kurenai had a look that promised mental pain while Anko had a sinister smile. The girls only had a moment's notice before Anko charged, armed with kunais. Naruto and Hinata jumped out of the way while Tukiko met Anko's kunais with her knives. As they fought, Hinata joined in the fray, using her fluid motion as she tried to get into Anko's defenses. Anko jumped away and utilized Snake Hand's jutsu to send multiple vipers at Hinata. Naruto appeared out of nowhere and pushed Hinata out of the way to be hit by the snakes. Hinata screamed, "Naruto!" before the clone revealed itself as a wind clone as it exploded into gale force winds that shredded the snakes into pieces. Anko was heartbroken, but she was not given a chance to mourn her fake pretties as Tukiko and Naruto teamed up with Wind Style, Great Breakthrough, Naruto, and Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu, Tukiko. The combined elements made a fireball several times larger than the girls did as they hurtled it toward Anko. However, the fireball did nothing but pass through Anko. Hinata realized it was an illusion created by the Genjutsu mistress. She activated her bloodline to see through the illusion to find that Anko was behind them. Hinata turned to strike at Anko with Water Style, Water Whip Jutsu to make Anko back off to give her space. Anko moved away, as another illusion hit the girls. Genjutsu Style, Binding Trees Jutsu. The jutsu felt so real to all three girls as they became bound by tree roots around. They were not able to move mentally due to being perceived trapped until Naruto sent out a wave of chakra to disrupt the illusion. She summoned a powerful wave of chakra that shot away from them to dispel all genjutsu around Naruto. That included a hidden illusion that Anko hid behind in. When the illusion dissipated, it revealed that Anko had summoned a giant snake that Kurenai had also hidden under layers of illusions that not even the Byakugan and Sharingan could see through. The girls wished the illusion did not reveal the giant gray snake Anko had to summon, as she laughed sadistically beside it. The girls' eyes then widened as Anko ordered the snake to attack them. The three girls jumped away, and Hinata immediately sent water-style tsunami jutsu at the snake to distract it. Tukiko added to the distraction with her assault rifle to pelt the snake with enough bullets to start a scrapyard, while Naruto got into position. Naruto ran behind the snake as she pulled out her two pistols, one equipped with her wind bullets and the other with lightning bullets. With her pistols raised, she fired the gun with wind bullets that pierced the snake's thick skin before she followed up with lightning bullets that would enter through the bullet holes to paralyze the snake's muscles through electrical pulses created by the bullets. The bullets paralyzed the entire snake after 10 rounds from each of her guns. Anko dispersed the snake and prepared for a full-scale fight. Naruto realized Anko was about to go all out, so she used water-style, water clone jutsu to create several copies to hold Anko off as Naruto's team prepared their escape. The clones did not last long as Anko charged through them, tearing them apart. Eventually, Anko arrived in front of the girls as they were about to make their escape and struck them all in a fluid of rapid motion before the girls fired off one final jutsu. They fell on the ground twitching by Anko's rapid attack-style attack. Anko let out a victory smile when the girls melted into the ground, revealing her prize to be just mud clones. Anko turned to Kurenai to ask, how? Tukiko performed genjutsu-style, Victor Jutsu, to make you believe you had reached the girls and won instead of retreating while Naruto's 3 mud clones took your beat down, Kurenai explained. The 3 girls then ran into the forest to escape while you performed a victory stance. You now have 25 minutes to find them in your playground. Anko smiled as she pulled out her kunai and licked the blade. Well then, I don't want to keep them waiting. Scene V. In the clearing, as the 3 girls gasped for breath, Hinata laid down on the grass to rest before she asked, how? How much time do we have? We have 18 minutes to go, Naruto answered calmly while wiping some sweat off her face. 18 freaking minutes in the forest of death. We're doomed, Tukiko said in hysteria. At least we have a place to hide from Anko for now, Naruto pointed out. Thank goodness that Naruto's pistols and her assault rifle had silencers functions or Anko would have heard us when we had to fight off the squad of tigers, Hinata added with a hint of optimism as she looked like 3 tigers that were the size of a horse down for the count. Yeah, but the rate of fire was cut in half, and I think my rifle is jammed beyond my capabilities to repair it, Tukiko muttered as she showed them her rifle. Naruto took the rifle and examined it. It would take me a full day at the lab to fix it. You had better stick to your other weapons and jutsus. In the meantime, we need to get moving. We have the most dangerous predator on our trail, and I do not want to face a real-life Medusa. Tukiko groaned as Hinata got up. I'll scout out the area first. Hinata then activated her bloodline before she exclaimed, heads up. Anko is heading our way. Where? Naruto asked while pulling out a square tube from inside a scroll. She pressed a button, and the tube unfolded to reveal a sniper rifle with 2 barrels, one to fire out bullets, and the other was a camera scope designed to zero in on the target. Naruto loaded a single soft metal bullet with a chakra seal on it. The bullet that would not kill anyone at point-blank range, but it was strong enough to survive being fired off at high speeds. Naruto quickly loaded the round into her sniper rifle and pointed her gun at the direction Hinata had pointed out. Looking through the foliage, she saw Anko briefly before firing. Anko fell to the ground as the bullet hit her and released enough foreign chakra to paralyze Anko. Naruto put up her rifle before she barked out orders, let's go. Anko will work the chakra out of her system soon. The girls nodded as they moved and disappeared into the forest, while Anko promised pain as Kurenai laughed over her down friend. Scene Vi. The victory was bittersweet for Naruto's team as they had less than 10 minutes left on the clock. However, it was still too much time as Anko proved relentless as she cornered the Jonin after a few minutes of playing snake and mice. Once cornered, Tukiko tried to turn hunter to prey when she used fire-style Phoenix Flower Jutsu to shoot out multiple fireballs at Anko. Anko countered with Earth-style Rock Wall Jutsu. The fireballs hit the rock wall and both dispersed into a cloud of dust. Anko jumped out to confront the girls, and she was armed with her favorite weapon, her shotgun. Anko fired pellets of paralyzing gas at Tukiko as they exploded onto her chest as she gasped for air. She also breathed in gas that overcame Tukiko, and she fell down like a house of cards. Naruto got ready for battle while she ordered Hinata to revive Tukiko due to her experience and training in treating wounds. Hinata quickly moved to Tukiko's side as Naruto put on a small gas mask before she summoned 10 wood clones to engage Anko. Naruto used wood clones against Anko because the wood had greater durability than the mud clones she used before, while the small squad equipped with swords moved into battle Anko. They engaged in fierce melee combat. But Anko was not only stronger but also more brutal than the girl was. Anko had used her own shotgun as a close-quarter weapon as she bashed away Naruto's clones with sandbags made the clones drop like flies under Anko's zeal. Zeal to win as Anko fired with her heart's content was occasionally used as a club, intent to find the real Naruto. Eventually, she got lucky and hit the real Naruto herself. The wood clones fell apart as Naruto flew towards Hinata. Hinata barely ducked in time as Naruto flew past her and fell to the ground in a heap, unable to move. Hinata was now alone against Anko. Anko only smiled at the scared girl as she used Snake Hand's jutsu on the girl. Hinata dashed forward to get far ahead of Tukiko, before using Protective 8 Trigram 64 bombs. Chakra was converted into laser palms that sliced or batted away Anko's snakes. Anko was prepared for such a tactic as she used Earth Style, Earth Spike Jutsu to send Hinata up into the air. Hinata's technique dispersed and she fell like a rock back to earth. She fell down, right next to Naruto on her back. Hinata looked up in pain as Anko smiled in victory. "You lose, brats." Scene 7. The battered girls were now in front of Anko and Kurenai, with thoughts of failure. They did not last 30 minutes as they were supposed to. They hoped it did not mean they were going to be sent back to the academy. Therefore, they were caught by surprise when Kurenai announced, "We are definitely proud of you girls and pleased to say you three passed with flying colors." "But we didn't last 30 minutes, Naruto stated in shock. "And you weren't meant to," Anko stated, a cocky smirk. "I am too skilled to lose." "I actually expected you to last 10 minutes, Kurenai explained before dishing out a playful jab at Anko. "I guess Anko's skills are beginning to rust." Anko stuck her tongue out in response before turning her attention back to the girls. "Though you did well, we did see some glaring weakness. However, it is nothing that a few weeks of training won't fix. And if my skills are as rusty as you think, Kurenai, I am sure my sparring with the brats will help improve my skills." Anko smiled while she sent chills through the girls' spines at the thought of weeks of daily fights with Anko. "Report tomorrow at 0800 for training and missions." "All right, dismissed," Kurenai ordered before she disappeared with Anko, leaving the girls alone. "I am not looking forward to tomorrow," Tukiko stated with a straight face. "At least you don't live with them," Naruto pointed out. Hinata gave a reassuring pat before the girls dispersed, going separate ways home, with a small smile on their faces as they felt they were one step closer to their careers and one step closer to what Colonel 9 of 9 had hoped would be Naruto's future. Scene 8. In the Hokage office, the old man Sarutobi was going over the files to determine a timetable for each passing team, starting with the worst. Team 7 passed more out of pity and pressure from the council. Therefore, they would not get a C-rank mission for 3 months at least. Next was Team 8 and 10. Both teams were flawed but nothing that could not be overcome, so they were put on 2 months of D rank. However, it was Team 6 and 13 that would be the stars, especially Team 13. The skill he saw in the reports showed the two teams would be nothing short of legends. He put them down with the minimal time of D rank missions, a month. After all, he wanted to see what his actual star teams could do once they were a regular part of his forces. Sarutobi had a good feeling and planned to tell Kushina how proud he was of her daughter in his next exchange of letters. The future has begun for the next generation of ninjas, may it look better than ones may beforehand. Done. Hope you enjoy this chapter, and I greatly appreciate it if you review it. Do not be shy. Chapter 6. Scene I. It has been boring for Team 13, as they finished their month of D-rank missions. They were itching for excitement, but they held their mouths and waited patiently for their first actual mission. It all paid off as they were in front of the Hokage to receive their first C-rank mission. Well, that was the plan until the Hokage informed them that they were needed for another mission that was of a higher rank mission. "You're sending us on a B-rank mission?" Tukiko asked the Hokage in shock. "Yes, you were requested by the Nature, Wrath and Inferno clans to help Team 6 for a delicate mission," Sarutobi explained. "It's really a C-rank mission skill-wise, but it was bumped up a rank due to the fact it is a diplomat mission." "What is this mission exactly?" Anko asked in annoyance of taking a mission that was higher than it should be, especially since it was a diplomatic mission instead of a combat-related mission. "To have the Seer clan join Leaf forces," a fiery voice replied from behind them. Team 13 turned to see Team 6 walked in. The Jonin was an intemperate dark-skinned man, who was jolly, yet quick to anger as he gently rubbed his blue-tipped, red hair. A fascinating man, but the Jonin of Team 13 was not interested in the Jonin. They were interested in Jinan from Team 6, the friends they made during the academy. Night Wolf, Revan, Bastilla, it's good to see you again. Naruto waved over her friends since the academy day. Night Wolf, the only Jinan male of Team 6, returned the smile. Hello Naruto, it's good to see you again. Night Wolf had not changed drastically since they were kids. He was tall, a muscular young adult with a dark tan form due to his constant training outdoors. His brown robes were tight because loose-fitting garments were a problem in combat. He had long, thin white hair that gave him a wild horse look instead of a feminine look, matched by his white silted black eyes that had a fire of strength. A fire that has grown since the Uchiha kidnapped his sister, and the clan responsible was unofficially executed in what is now known as the Uchiha massacre. To his left was Bastilla Roth, who was quickly catching up with Tukiko and Hinata. Bastilla was a very athletic girl that wore padded armor that resembled white robes. However, her disposition demonstrated in her brown hair that tied in a messy court style. Bastilla was a stickler for rules most of the time, but she was also fun-loving and free-spirited. She was not afraid to break the rules when she felt it was the right thing to do. The same cannot be said for her sister Revan, who occasionally joined in the conversation to give an opinion or two. Compared to her two teammates, Revan actually looked frail. She wore a thin black robe and was very feminine, with a young, petite, slim body. She also had long purple hair that was brushed heavily. However, if you looked into her green eyes, you could see they were powerful, cold calculating eyes, unlike Bastilla's warm purple eyes or Night Wolf's fiery eyes. They were the eyes of a brilliant strategist that cared for the people who she commanded, but she was willing to sacrifice them if the situation warranted for the greater good of the many. She used of power unlike the other two. Good to see you catching up with your friends. But we really need to get back to the mission I am about to send you all on. The Hokage smiled as he lit his pipe. Team 6, would you brief Team 13 for me? Team 6 bowed before the Jinan began to explain the situation. Before we joined Konoha, there was a three-way alliance between the Nature Clan, Roth Clan and a clan known as the Seer Clan, Night Wolf explained. I've never heard of the Seer Clan? Tukiko asked. They are an ancient clan and one of the most powerful in the world, Revan explained in a cold voice. They have a bloodline that allowed them to analyze their surroundings to actually predict the outcome of a situation, or battle. They can even change the outcome of such a situation if given enough warning. The most powerful were able to see how a war ends before it even begins with pinpoint accuracy. They might as well have been oracles, Bastilla joked. They are certainly more accurate than the gypsy ladies you have to pay coins to read your fortune. Anyway, when our clans decided to settle in Konoha, they opted out of being a member of any village, Night Wolf continued to explain. They explained that they did not want to get involved with the future shinobi wars. We respected their wishes but still kept ties with the clan. They even allowed us to hire one of their clansmen during times of war as the rest stay out of the fighting. What changed to make them join the Leaf? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. The Seer clans will soon need to pick a side as they predicted that rock forces are going to put pressure on them to join them, on urges from a rival of my clan, the Coca Clan, Bastilla explained. The Coca Clan? Tukiko asked. The Coca Clan is the darker cousin of the Roth clan. While we used pure chakra collected from around us, they used corrupted chakra that allows them to poison their victims' chakra network, if not kill them, Revan explained. They've also been a pain to the Roth clan since our clan separated from the samurai clans in Iron Country. Why are we involved? Hinata asked, remembering her lessons as a clan heiress. This should be handled by Fire Country's Diplomat Corps and Ninja Protection of Jonin level. Normally yes, but this is an exception for several reasons. Jonin Inferno spoke for the first time. First, this is just between our village and the Seer clan, not Fire Country as a whole. Second, despite appearances, this should be a relatively easy mission. And finally, the clan judges strength not by how powerful a group is now, but how powerful they will become in the future, Bastilla added for her teacher. That means showing off not only what the best, Green Jinan can do, but academy students as well, Revan explained with a bit of cold logic. The room was quiet when Naruto asked, which students? The Hokage answered Naruto by pulling out a phone to his secretary and ordering him to send them in. The door opened to reveal 3 students, escorted by the scar-nosed Chunin Iruka, their former teacher. All 3 were kids they recognized. One was the black-haired, steely-eyed girl that was Hinata's little sister, Hanabi. The second was a green-haired girl that had idolized the girls when they saved her during the Uchiha massacre. A girl that became a mini Naruto from the green version coat she wore, and even took to a private pastime that Naruto indulges in from time to time, playing pranks on people. However, unlike Fox Spirit, Naruto never gotten caught with the few jokes she played. though it may be because she works with the final child, a small boy named Konohamaru. A boy that spends more time making pranks than strategize, as he was out to make an impression to seem more than a younger dark-haired version of his grandfather, the Hokage. Since he was related to the Hokage, very few people could see him like him, and he was pressured by private teachers to believe he was better than all the other children were. He was well on the way to becoming a brat until he met Naruto and her friends. They knocked some sense into the kid and treated him as just another person instead of royalty. This led to admiration on his part and a joke he would marry Naruto when he was older, while coming he would be Hokage. Tukiko never let it go, while Hinata giggled at first before she developed a disturbed look. However, that was the past as fox spirit, and Konohamaru made Naruto twitch as the two yelled out, "Big fox sis." They ran over to Naruto before jumped on her to give a huge hug. Naruto almost fell while Hanabi went over to bow to her sister with respect. It was a touching sight to everyone, but the Hokage had to stop. He had waved them off to start their mission. "Now off you go, and remember to travel heavily armed, just in case the clan wants you to be tested." When the students heard they needed to be heavily armed, the three, even Hanabi, got stars in their eyes. Fox Spirit eyes shine like two giant globes as she asked, "Does that mean we are going to be armed for this mission?" The Hokage face paled, especially as Naruto eyes sparkled with mischief as she declared, "Sure, I mean we can't let you be unarmed on such an important mission. I will provide you with some weapons when you leave." The three children screamed in excitement as they ran out, while Sarutobi noticeably paled. As the group left to get ready, Hinata went to ask Naruto, "Are you really going to arm those three?" "Don't worry, any guns I will hand out will use the old police sonic weapons," Naruto reassured Hinata. "All those weapons can do is knock your opponents off their feet. I just planned on the kids have the feel of a pistol or rifle, but not enough firepower to cause any damage to each other." Also, to get personal revenge on Hokage for not warning us about the Munchkins, Tukiko pointed out, and Naruto replied with a smile before they went to prepare for the convoy. Scene 2. On top of a ridge, three figures in dark robes were discussing their attack on the Seer clan while staying ahead of the Leaf Nins that are coming. Summing up the discussion was a pale-skinned man with wild, dangerous yellow eyes as he spoke up, "So it is agreed. We will wait for our forces to arrive the night that the Leaf Nins arrive so we can defeat them, and submit the Seer clan to the Coca Clan in one fell swoop. We may even get lucky and earn the favor of the Tsuchikage by bringing them a few new bloodlines in these new toys that the tree huggers have been using lately." "Sir, I think this is a waste of the resources and manpower. We do not know the exact numbers and skill levels of the Seer clan and Leaf forces. Maybe we should pull back and leave the Seer clan alone," a dark, masculine man suggested. "Shut up, Zokusai. We follow Lord Vadic's orders until the day he dies," a pale-skinned girl grumbled out her displeasure while her yellow-eyed gave a murderous intent toward anyone that questioned the plan. "Sunao is right, Zokusai, you must follow my orders until the day I die. Now prepare for a battle that will set us free and defeat these tree huggers." Scene 3. It took the better half of a day for the heavy truck with the envoy to arrive at what resembled a gypsy camp filled with trained warriors and killers, instead of nomadic wonders. They were performing their day-to-day operation when the truck arrived, and the group dismounted from the vehicle to meet with the clan's leader. They did not have to wait as a blind, elderly woman as were a milky gray-white looked at them as she approached the group. She was not alone, as the blind woman had two young, black-haired kids, a girl and a boy by her side. As the woman approached, she seemed to be able to see them as she bowed before them in greeting, "Hello Leaf Nins, and welcome to the Seer camp. I am Muai, clan head of the Seer clan, and these are my grandchildren, Aiko and Inan. Love and trust." "It's a pleasure to meet you," Kurenai stated as the three Jonin bowed. When they raised their heads, Anko impetuously asked, "Are you blind? Because you sure don't act like it." "Anko," Kurenai snapped, but the elderly woman just laughed. "It's okay, I don't mind answering the young woman's question," Muai explained. "Yes, I am blind, but due to my bloodline, my senses have become ultra-sensitive. I can see the world around me by the vibrations that every object makes in the air and on the ground. I can hear things beyond the range of normal people. I can see colors that even you can't see by feeling the slight differences in heat caused by the reflected light off of your bodies, especially when I am so close to you all." The group stared in amazement at the old woman's description of her bloodline. However, Hinata was interested in the children. "Hello little ones." "Hello, the lady who will change her clan and join with the one that will change the world forever," the twins said in unison. Hinata looked at the children questionably while Muai explained that the children, Aiko and Inan, are twins and are the most powerful members of this clan. With their powers and senses, they can get flashes of future events and can read situations the moment they enter a room. The only downside is that an event far in the future is as vivid to them, as though it was a dream. Only at the right moment, they can give an outcome down to the smallest detail. I looked at the children before adding, these children also have a mental connection as though their two bodies share one mind. Wow, that must stink, Tukiko had commented. You have no idea, the twins spoke at once. Kurenai looked at the twins before she gave some suggested orders. Academy students, Jinan, why don't you take Aiko and Inan with you while we Jonin have a discussion with the clan leader? Actually, I think you may want to include your Jinan in this as well, Muai stated mystically. We have much to discuss. Kurenai was suspicious of the request but agreed as she told the academy students to go on. The students wanted to protest, but Naruto stopped the kids. Don't worry, we will come to see you later and play ninja. How does that sound? The children nodded before they ran to the camp. Once they were out of sight, Muai turned to Naruto to state, you are great with kids. I bet you will be a great mother. Naruto smiled at the compliment but also felt sad as looked at her lavender teammate. Hinata also returns the look with a smile and eyes filled with dread and hope. The two felt something for each other, but they did not know fully what it was beside the fact they wanted to be forever there for the other. They quickly pushed that aside as things became serious as Muai brought up bad news. Now that it was settled, I thought I should warn you that our clan is in danger. The group looked at Muai in shock when Inferno asked, what do you mean in danger? Muai sighed as she explained the situation. 2 months ago, Aiko and Inan predicted that our clan would be attacked by a dark rival we later would identify as the Coca Clan. Nightwolf grimaced at the news as the Roth sisters narrowed their eyes at the thought of their arch-rivals. Revan's eyes also darkened when she came to the realization, that is why you applied for membership, to avoid being attacked. The elderly woman nodded yes, we knew our time of neutrality was over and it was finally time to pick a side. We thought we had enough time to avoid a fight, but the twins saw the attack will happen tonight and our scouts confirm it. And now you want us to help bail your asses out of the fire? Anko asked with a snide remark. Correct, Muai had answered Anko. Why should we help you? Kurenai asked the elder, unsure if this was their fight. We have academy students with us, and most of our forces are Green Jinan with this being their first mission. And even if we help you and succeed, the threat would be over, and we have no guarantee that you will honor our deal and our sacrifices would be worthless. We give you our word that if you help us protect our clan, we will willingly to join the Leaf forces, Muai stated while holding out papers. I even have these acceptance papers and treaties that say we will join Leaf forces for their aid, already signed. The elderly woman then smiled before she continued, so if you want this clan to join your village, you have no choice but to help us. She's right, Inferno told Kurenai. For the sake of the mission, we must help the Seer clan. Kurenai bitterly acknowledged Inferno and Muai's words before asking, can we see your battle plans? Muai nodded before pulling out a paper diagramming the clan's battle plans. The three Jonin carefully studied the plan, adding a few suggestions before handing it to Naruto and Revan, two of the best battle strategists in the group and even better when put together. Naruto was an effects master, able to use an ally's strength and an enemy's weakness to cause maximum damage to her enemies and benefit her allies. Revan was a strategist by cause, immediately determining appropriate counters of not only enemy plans but also allies' possible mistakes/attacks as well. The combination created a new meaning to cause and effect. I think it would be best if I stay in the camp to snipe out the enemies and cause confusion among their ranks, Naruto suggested. Also, if we have gunfire in multiple directions, it will make it hard to pinpoint the location of the sniper and continue the confusion while our forces move in and attack. We can add to the confusion from ninjas, using multiple jutsus to keep them off balance as to who they should be fighting, Revan added. However, once they realize what is happening, the strategy will be ineffective unless we attack the leader and kill or distract them. After the leader falls down, it will be easier to pick them off one by one within all the chaos. The two considered each what if until each contingency and counter had been made. Everything would be ready by tonight. Scene 4. Under the illuminated blue moon, 36 men were making their way to the Seer camp through the forest. Each wore dark clothes, and they were armed with dark swords colored by the dark chakra they produced. All of them wore a black masked ninja with the symbol of rock forces on their foreheads. The group slowly moved into position, never knowing they were walking into a trap. At the very top of a tower, looking over the forest was Naruto. She pulled out her sniper rifle and activated the night vision scanner. As the ninjas moved closer, Naruto watched her pray through her scope. As Naruto adjusted her rifle, she could hear 9 of 9's advice. Naruto, aim small, miss small, and always target the officers first. Naruto nodded as she aimed for one of the Jonin at the rear. She zoomed in her scope and aimed for the space between the warrior's eyes. Naruto pulled the trigger, and a loud bang was heard. The sound echoed throughout the clearing as Naruto activated some microphones that she had jerry-rigged. It multiplied the bang sound from her gun that echoed throughout the forest. In the forest, A Chunin heard the bang and went to ask his commander, "Sir, what was that sound?" He turned to see the Jonin at the rear of the line freeze in place before falling to the ground. Blood poured out of a large hole in his head, as he laid motionless on the ground. The Chunin was about to yell for help when he heard the second shot. He turned to see the bullet escape from the back of a Jonin's head that was in front of him and continued towards him. He could not even warn his fellow clan members before death took him within the silence. The Coca Clan soon descended into chaos as Vatican and Sunao lost control of their men. The total disorder was apparent as jutsus of blue fire came roaring down on their heads. A few were caught on fire and began running around, screaming before they fell on the ground, dying in agony. Several other different types of jutsus started to descend on them, and the Kokai returned fire in all directions, hitting some of their enemies with a lucky shot or two. That was when the Seer clan shinobi began to move in on the enemy, using their bloodlines to their fullest effect. The Seer bloodline allowed them to predict enemy movements, strike in places where the enemy moved just as they arrived, and avoid deadly attacks before they happened. However, their abilities did not always help them. Some attacks were unavoidable. Other times, their opponents were too skilled, or they had predicted movements too far ahead in the chaos of combat. It was equal parts hell for both sides as the fighting increased among the two. The wounded and dead risen to equal levels when the Leaf Nins moved in to provide aid. At the top of the tower, Naruto had just killed another member of the Coca Clan when she saw some movement in the dark. She looked down to see a ninja behind the lines. He was sneaking in at speeds she could barely keep up with her rifle scope before he hid among the tents. She knew that this man would cause trouble, so she reported it in before she gives chase. "You think that is a good idea, Naruto?" The 9 of 9 asked in her thoughts. "No, but we can't let him go as he pleases, especially since he can cause a lot of damage." Naruto then looked to a tent where she believed the man was heading. "I will not allow him to harm the Munchkins." The argument was over as Naruto went to the tent, with her swords out. Scene V. In the woods, the Jonin got Naruto's message, but could not do anything as the fighting had become fierce as Lord Vatican and a woman named Sunao was tearing through the lines. "Alright, we need to get those two to end this battle, so let's get them and then help Naruto." Ordered. The 3 Jonin charged. Kurenai looked behind her to see 2 of her students among 4 Seer clan shinobi. She was proud, watching 2 Kiko use genjutsu to trap her opponents and take them out, only flinching briefly after each kill. Hinata on the other hand, stayed behind, patching up wounded while she kept up her guard to protect them with a vicious streak. One that an enemy shinobi found out the hard way as his chakra points were closed and his muscle tandems were torn. He was efficiently disabled for days if not weeks without medical aid under Hinata's compassion. Hinata does not like to kill if it was possible, but that does not mean she will not hurt them. Kurenai felt pride for her 2 students before turning to see Lord Vatican and Sunao heading towards Inferno's students. The 3 Genin seemed to be cornered by 4 enemy nins when Revan sprung her trap. Nightwolf was the first to strike as he used Spirit Summon Jutsu to summon his spirit animal, a white wolf made of wind with eyes that gleamed black. It was formed under a gust of wind that circled like a tornado. The same gust of wind that encased Nightwolf. From head to toe, he was protected by a cyclone of wind that kept him safe as his wolf dashed at one of the ninjas. The wolf attack was at a startling pace, shredding its opponent to pieces as it ran through the enemy like a train through a paper wall, and that was only the beginning. As following the attack, Nightwolf used his wind manipulation to gain speed as he moved to attack the enemy. He avoided his target's sword strikes, getting through the man's defenses for an open palm strike at the chest. The concentration of blunt force and wind sent the man flying before he collapsed to the ground in pain, while the other 2 were taken down by Revan and Bastilla. Bastilla used a double yellow-bladed energy sword to cut the man's arms off, after getting under the man's guard, while her sister used subtlety. Revan waited until the man attacked with a corrupted blast, where she used her green blade to deflect the blast back to the surprised man. She then presented an open palm to send a burst of pure chakra that followed up the corrupt chakra. Both hit the man as the ninja rolled on the ground in pain. He was the last of 4 enemy ninjas were taken out, 3 incapacitated and 1 killed. However, victory was short-lived when 2 figures arrived on the scene to show their discontent at the situation. One of the defeated Koka raised up his only arm not mangled to state with authority, "Lord Vatic." Lord Vatic was not amused as he stated, "How could you lose to these tree-huggers, especially to these want-to-be samurais and this hippie boy?" The man growled before he looked at his men, "When we get back, you will be in the pit for hours." "My lord, while they may have failed, look at this as an opportunity, sir. We can earn favor as bring you all these bloodlines bring great victory," Sunao stated. The man smiled as he agreed with his subordinate, "Yes, as capturing the Hyuga, Uchiha and even these 3 hugger children will help us gain more influence with that pathetic old man of a cage once we deliver to him our prize." "You will not touch any of them." A feminine voice echoed through the clearing. Lord Vatic turned to see snakes heading their way while Sunao evaded a blue fireball. Jumping into the clearing was three-leaf Jonins while their Jinan took the opportunity to retreat. Lord Vatic grinned at the three-leaf nins facing him. Well. We seem to have the three strongest ninjas from the leaf nins here to greet us. There is a high bounty on your heads in my village's bingo book. I look forward to collecting. Vatic then pointed them out. We have the Snake Mistress, Anko Mitarashi with her partner the Genjutsu Mistress, Kurana Yuhi. We also have the Blue Flame Inferno Pyro. The man gave a bloodthirst smile before pulling out a stick similar to the Roth clan. I can't say it is an honor to meet you three, but it will be a greater honor to kill you, Vatican yelled as he channeled chakra, and a black blade appeared while Sunao summoned a double-bladed red sword. Inferno went through a couple of hand signs and called out, Blaze Style, Fireball Jutsu, to initiate the first strike. Sunao evaded the blue fireball as Inferno pulled out two kunai and channeled chakra into them to generate blue flames. Inferno charged at Sunao with the intent to kill, and they engaged in an all-out battle. They spent most of the fight parrying and evading each other with the occasional blue flames or corrupt chakra blast as tried to land a blow on each other. They were fighting a battle of life and death, and neither one of them had the advantage over the other. Meanwhile, Anko pursued Vatic in all-out battle as she parried with chakra-infused kunai before she used Snake Hands Jutsu to latch onto her target. She tried to grab him with her snakes, but Vatic proved to be superior in close-quarter combat. Vatic destroyed Anko's snakes and was about to go in for the kill when Anko disappeared through Kurenai's chameleon jutsu. Vatic turned his attention to see Kurenai had backed Anko up and sent several blasts of corrupt chakras at her. This made Kurenai drop the jutsu in favor of evading the attack and moving away. However, it was too late for Vatic as Anko maneuvered behind him and shot his legs out with her shotgun. The man screamed out in shock as he fell to the ground, blood dripping from the open wound in his leg. Anko was about to show mercy with her gun when Vatic laughed at her. You think you have me, bitches? Well, I do not need my legs to beat weaklings like you two. Anko sneered as a sadistic smile passed over her face. You know, I was going to end you humanely, but after that comment, I'm going to make your miserable life drag on and on in the most painful way before you die. After Anko's speech, she used Coral Poison Snake Jutsu to exact her kill. The jutsu created several larger red, yellow and black banded snakes that came out of her sleeves towards her targets. The snakes reached their target and bit into the defiant Lord Vatic could not move to stop it. He screamed as the coral snake's poison was delivered into his neck, via puncture marks. The venom quickly coursed through his body with deadly result. It took several minutes for him to suffer an agonizing death, unable to move or stop the pain from the poison injected in him until he knew no more as the world became black before he reaches Hell's Gates. Once Lord Vatic was dead, Anko's snakes off her adrenaline while Kurenai calmed her best friend down. They then heard a snap and turned to see a tired Inferno with his burnt prisoner. We got him, Kurenai exclaimed as Anko patted herself on the back. Good for you. Please ignore the fact I have defeated my opponent as well, Inferno stated while presenting his conscious prisoner. Lord Vatic? Sunao whispered in shock that their lord was dead as the fighting continued around them. Tired of the needless death, Anko grabbed Sunao pulling her up and placing a kunai to the woman's throat. Call off the attack. I can't, Sunao told the Jonin in a hollowed tone. Only our clan's lord can order a retreat. With Lord Vatican dead, only our new lord, Lord Zokusai can order us to stop. Where is this Lord Zokusai? Inferno demanded, and Sunao gave him the answers he needed. He was ordered to infiltrate the Seer camp to find some of the children and take them hostage to force the Seer clan and Leaf forces to surrender. Shit. Let's go, Anko had ordered as they ran to the camp. Scene Vi. While the Leaf Jonin rushed to the camp with their prisoner, Zokusai Koku had infiltrated deep into the enemy camp with the purpose of kidnapping some of the clan's children to be used as leverage to force the enemy to surrender. Zokusai thought it would be an easy task compared to being on the front lines, though he wished he were on the front lines for he found the mission deplorable. Though he found out it was not easy when he opened the tent flap and faced the barrels of 3 sonic guns. He was sent flying out of the tent by a sonic blast. As Zokusai got up, he realized that going through the entrance would just get him hit again, so he decided to attack from above. The academy students did not see the attack from above until a purple blade cut through the top of the tent above their heads. The children were then hit by a corrupt chakra blast from Zokusai before they could react. The blast was purposely not strong enough to kill the kids, but they were extremely weakened and unable to get up due to the corrupt chakra. The academy students barely had enough energy to watch as Zokusai stood over them. Their hearts were racing until he turned to the twins that were at the other end of the tent. The twins calmly stared down at Zokusai in a way that suggests they knew something big was going to happen to him. Zokusai was not sure what to make of it, so he decided to be friendly to get them to come with him, You knew I was going to attack from above, right? Their silence was all the answer he needed. Too bad you weren't able to warn the others in time. You must be powerful to see that far with your bloodline. Most impressive, I give my respect to you. Zokusai bowed with a broad smile before he rose up to give the children an ultimatum. Now, come with me, and I promise you I won't hurt you. Otherwise, you will be in a world of pain, assuming I let you live. The twins did not move as they spoke in once. Do not assume you have achieved victory, as it can be taken by an unknown force and strength that only now will make themselves known. Zokusai was confused by what they meant until he looked at the disabled Leaf Academy students on the ground. One was a black-haired Hyuga, and the other was a brown-haired brat that looked like the third Hokage. Both groaned as if they were deathly ill, but there were only those two children. The little girl with green hair was missing, and that made him worry. His worry turned to shock as he spotted the girl running towards a bush. It became anger when the girl grabbed onto the bush's branch and channeled her spirit's chakra into the bush. The bush grew several times over as its roots broke the ground underneath Zokusai and grabbed the man's forelimbs. The plant's roots now held him tightly while Fox Spirit lay on the ground, exhausted from her control of the pants. Zokusai was enraged that he had allowed a small child to delay him, as he struggled against the vines. He was about to summon his corrupt chakra to make the roots rot and break. However, he stops when he felt and saw two orange-bladed swords cross his neck. Blades held by a blonde-haired girl that had eyes that resembled a beautiful, multicolor star. Naruto had the man where she wanted him, and he could not do a thing about it, as any sudden movement with her blades would cross. It would be an instant kill with minimal effort, and the only reason he was still alive was the fact she heard movement outside the tent and decided to wait to see who came. Naruto turned to see her teachers run in with their own prisoner that made Zokusai gasp. Sunao? Lord Zokusai. Sunao bowed within restraints to show respect to her new leader. Lord Vatic is dead. What are your orders, my lord? Zokusai sighed as he mumbled aloud, I knew this was a bad idea. Zokusai then shot out orders, I order a full retreat, assuming this vixen will let me go. Naruto stared at the man before pulling her swords free from Zokusai's neck while the Jonin let Sunao go. The young Jinan then jumped back to summon 5 shadow clones helped the children while she stood in front of Zokusai. Zokusai just stood there before he summoned corrupt chakra to the bush holding him in place, leaving nothing but rotten wood and dissolved leaves. Lord Zokusai Kakusai was released, and he was stretching his muscles, as his eyes remained alert. He then signaled Sunao to leave and tell the men to retreat. All the while Zokusai stared at Jinan with her swords and sniper rifle on her back. He continued to stare even as the Jonin backed her up as when Zokusai finally spoke up to the girl, I recognize the 3 Jonins but not you Jinan. Who are you? Naruto stared at the man before she gave an answer, my name is Naruto Ryu, Jinan of Konoha and inventor for Leaf Forces. Zokusai formed a sinister smile before bowing at Naruto, my thanks for letting me go despite the killing of so many of my own men with that oversized pea shooter on your back. And now that I gave you my thanks for your mercy, and I bid you farewell, my deadly Kitsune assassin. Zokusai disappeared in a black flash as Naruto stared at the smeared ground in anger. It was only 9 of 9's voice that snapped her out of her funk. Naruto, ignore the man. You have children need you. Naruto shook her head and ordered her clones to bring the academy students up to be treated. They either had chakra sickness or for Fox Spirit, chakra exhaustion. Fox Spirit was the only one that could respond as she mumbled, Fox says. Don't worry Munchkin, I got you, Naruto's clone stated while taking Fox Spirit out of the tent. Naruto was about to leave too when the twins asked simultaneously, can we please go with you? Naruto only nodded slowly as she had her clones take them with her. She spent the night with them, as their guardian angel. Scene 7. It was a slow trip going home as Naruto looked out the truck window to see horse-drawn wagons following the truck convoy. Behind Naruto were 5 kids that needed sleep. All of them except Fox Spirit refused to sleep last night because they were too sick or scared. Naruto stayed up all night with them until they finally fell asleep and she was able to briefly sleep for 4 hours. She was now in the back of the truck, watching over her charges as they drove back to Konoha. As the scenery passed by her in the convoy, she sensed a friend approached from behind her. Hey, Hinata, how are you? Naruto asked her friend, who did not look shocked that Naruto was able to recognize her without even looking. Fine, Hinata greeted her friend with a tired smile. They didn't hurt me, and I didn't exert myself too badly. What about Tukiko? Is she fine? Naruto asked Hinata. She doing well thanks to Kura and I helping her deal with the stress of the full combat that we had to deal with, Hinata explained. Not that she needed much help in dealing with the death, having killed one of her own clansmen. What about Anko? Naruto inquired. I thought she claimed she would help Tukiko. Well, I am not sure if Anko is helping Tukiko, or making it harder for Kurenai, Hinata joked as Naruto giggled. Yeah, I can't see Anko's sadistic approach being helpful, Naruto had added with a giggle. What about Team 6? Are Bastilla, Night Wolf, and Raven fine? They are fine as their clan teachings will help them understand that first kills is a natural order of their carrier. Hinata nodded sadly before asking, what about you Naruto? Are you alright? I am fine, this wasn't my first kill, Naruto explained as she remembered the moment she killed her traitorous teacher Mizuki so many years ago. When I killed 4 people last night, I was numb. I didn't feel anything. Sigh, maybe it is true what they say, that killing someone makes you lose an important part of yourself. It was quiet until Hinata broke the silence. I don't think you lost anything. You still care about life, about others that are important to you. You just learn how to shut your emotions off when you need to and when to pull yourself back when it is time to show emotions. Hinata looked at the ground before she added, in many ways, I wish I could be like you, a strong inventor that builds things for a better tomorrow. And I wish I could be like, Naruto told Hinata. To have a pure, caring soul of a healer instead of an obsessive builder that doesn't know how to stop. Nothing is greater than being able to preserve something that science can't build and be able to try with all your heart. Hinata smiled as she sat down and leaned against Naruto. I guess we both are something we want to be in the end. Maybe that is why we are friends. We complete each other. Naruto smiled as she embraced her friend. Yeah, I guess we are. Within Naruto's mind, 9 of 9 took a mental picture of the scene as she whispered, appreciate the warmth Naru, for it's these times which you will cherish in the end. Scene 8. In a tall tower of the Hokage office, Sarutobi was looking over his village, thinking back to when the Seer clan had first come. How it was a simple thing to set them up in the village. That was at least until the 2 children gave him their little prophecy. Flashback. The Hokage was signing the last bit of the papers that would officially accept the clan into their village when the twin children came up to him and gave him their prediction of the future. A snake lays hidden and plans to attack the leaves as the elemental's attention is on the arena. He plans and plots to burn the leaf while plucking a copy wheel and a precious star out the pile. As the snake slithers, the whirlpool also comes during the confusion to consume the precious star that the snake wants for himself, and so the 2 will fight the leaves. All the while, a family will unite to help change the world for the better as they prepare for the biggest wars to come since the war with the old machines. The 2 finished as the Hokage almost had a panic attack. What are these children talking about? The Hokage asked. I am sorry Hokage-sama, these are very powerful seers, and they can see things months to years ahead before we can see it. Muai answered the Hokage. I understand. The Hokage had sighed as he looked out the window while the Seer clan left to settle within the village. End flashback. Looks like the Uzumaki clan and my former student will make their move soon. I need to make preparation for protecting the Uchiha clan members, Naruto and Konoha, Hokage said as he signed the papers signifying the village was now on yellow alert. Looks like retirement will not be coming anytime soon. Best prepare for the worst, Sarutobi added before turning into deep thought as he prepares for what lies ahead. That's the end guys, if you enjoyed then make sure to leave a comment. This is Chaos Shinobi signing off.